sono alzato. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho
Hi survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Last Chance Qualifiers for the Free Fire North America Series. I am Porosaurus. Joining me is Clover. We are on day number 2. Day 1 saw Wasaka Esport taking the lead overall with a great performance, but those top 4 slots still on the line, Clover.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, like we've kind of been seeing a resurgence of some teams that had strong finish or excuse me, strong plays in the beginning of the series. And then kind of fell off a little bit, right? And that's why they're here in the last chance qualifier. So as we wrap things up today, I know it's going to be very stiff competition.
Absolutely. And we had 6 games yesterday. Two teams won 2 games apiece. Obviously, with Saka in the lead, but Skullbreakers actually, I think a lot of people taking a lot of people by surprise. 2 wins on the board, and they looked actually really, really good yesterday.
Yeah, and that's really going to be the thing that we're keeping kind of an eye on today, right? Is the consistency. Oftentimes we see those teams that have one solid, strong day, and then they might falter a little bit. And so, looking forward to today, it is keeping eyes on teams like the Skullbreakers, like Wasaka and High Religion, who are right now kind of in the lead of the leaderboard.
Yep, got to have that consistency if you want a spot in the grand finals. Let's take a look at our format overall to see how we got here. We started off with those open qualifiers, then made our way to the group stages. We are now down to our last chance qualifier to pick our last 4 spots for the grand finals that'll be taking place a couple weeks. Yeah, we'll call it a couple weeks. Why not? 2 weeks. There it is. See, I was right. I got production helping me out here. Let's take a look at the prize pool that everybody is fighting for here. There you go. That is going to be the grand finals prize pool. Obviously, the first place team will be taking home $12,500, and then there's also those bounties that can be picked up by anybody. And there's definitely a lot of possible contenders for that one that we've seen. Maybe somebody from the last chance qualifiers might make a run.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen some deadly kill machines, some lethal killers, as we could call it so far this weekend. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on for sure going forward into the grand finals.
All right, we got 6 games on tap for the day. Let's take a look at the map rotation. We're going to start off on Purgatory before heading over to Bermuda and finally wrapping things up over there on Kalahari. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard, see where everyone is sitting after day 1. There is Wasaka Esports in first place with 86 points, 2 booyahs on the board. Skullbreakers right behind them, but it's still very, very close there, Clover.
Yeah, I mean, 1 or 2 good games could bring anybody from 12th place up into the top 4. So even, us outside of Wasaka and Skullbreaker, it is something to keep an eye on because remember, it's more than just one team moving forward.
Sure. Yep. We care about that top 4. And you can see, I mean, the cut line at 4th place right now, IT Official holding on, but it's tenuous at best as Team Money is right behind them. And there's also a few teams that are a little bit further down the leaderboard that I think some folks might have been looking at to perform a little bit better. Red Falcons. They do get 1 booyah yesterday, but only 11 kills.
Yeah, and they are really a favorite going into this weekend. And this is a team, again, looking in the past, right before the last chance qualifier. We know what they're capable of, and I think if they can take that motivation going into today, as you guys can see, the yellow is here, which means we're about to get started, and things can change in an instant. So, Poro, I'm so hyped.
Yellow is excitement time, and we are ready to get into our first game of the day. Now, it's been a big, a very interesting last chance qualifiers because there was a big, major change that had a huge impact on how these games have been playing out, Clover, and that had something to do with the time turner.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret that the time turner has often been probably one of the key elements into Free Fire esports. And so with the time turner now essentially just being a violent-less bubble, right? It's you can't shoot out of it. It's been something that we're starting to see more and more teams not really waste as much resource on using that time instead to focus on other abilities to pop. And also, I think we've seen even a resurgence of glue walls now in the late game. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see any time turners at all today.
Yeah, still figuring out how best to play around it. Now, in my opinion, it's still it's still a S tier ability to take with that time turner, just because is so much utility to be had from it if you can figure out how to work around it. But right off the bat, we've got a hot drop here. Japro's going to be finding themselves right on top of who is that just off to the side there? Yeah, it's Skullbreakers and C7 off to the south as well.
One of the things I love about this map as well is the waterways, and so even having that hot drop right here in this area is going to make things difficult depending on where that first circle could pop. So this fight needs to pop off pretty quickly. But as you see right now, Toddy completely stuck there in the center of the crates. There's just no way for the rest of JP to get to him right now with two other teams in the area.
Yeah, C7 definitely could use all the points they can get here if they can find a way to take advantage of this fight, but they got to be careful because, as you said, there's three teams here trying to commit. Who's going to go for the res? Yeah, okay, the rest of JP just kind of watching the angles, making sure that they don't get pushed from behind, and we'll see if they can pull this res off. You see Ravkush out in the middle of no man's land, essentially. Duro trying to make the push here as well, and Yapro's taking shots. I think that's Team Money, so another team now getting involved as well.
This is the worst case scenario for teams right now, especially those that are chasing. We did see Ravkush got punished trying to go for the res, so now Japros are down 2 players. You can see Freestyle and Prince were trying to get out of there. Prince caught as he was up in the open on the hill. Actually, from Duro, look at that range in which they managed to catch him. So Japros down to just 1, but this hot drop is not over just yet. We've still got teams in the area, but it looks like for now, at least, most everybody has kind of given them a breather. In fact, Team Money actually has just completely left this area.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him. I mean, 2 kills already on the board for Skullbreakers now. They had a great day yesterday. Looks like it's starting off to be a nice day here today as they pick up 2. They relatively, I mean, not even harried even a little bit there. I mean, it was unfortunate for Yapros that they end up losing so many, but we'll see if Freestyle can stay alive. Unfortunately, he's found his way right into the neighborhood of Red Falcons.
I know. I'm actually amazed that Freestyle managed to get across the river so fast. I mean, he was completely focused. But as you said, Red Falcons now in the area. I think the only thing that might be helping him out here is just the urban sprawl that is Brasilia. The likelihood that Red Falcons is going to clear every single house a little bit low. So if Freestyle can keep his head down, you never know. This could actually be a good position, especially when we see where that first circle pops.
Take a look at Dual Kings, another team that has a lot of work to do here today in these final 6 games if they want to try to make that top 4, sitting currently in 11th place, 32 points overall. So not completely outside of the realm of possibility, but they've got to start getting to work. You see Team Money hanging out just off to their northwest, and to the northwest of Team Money is C7. So all of these teams that kind of hot dropped around here still kind of floating around the golf course area, and just off to the west as we see, I'm not sure if they spotted each other out. The terrain just not really a lot. Oh, there we go. Oh. Monkey gonna spot out the man. Shots from range coming through. The glue wall's gonna come down. Keep them alive for the time being. Is there any return fire from C7 just yet, though?
I think you see a little bit, right? The tracers coming across the screen towards Team Money, but it's not quite connecting. Daryl actually is going to get flushed out there by C7, but you can see DK has actually used this as an opportunity to kind of close the gap here for Team Money. Fight for the high ground, especially since the first zone has popped, and it is going to be here on Golf Course Island. So everybody really wanting to play King of the Hill for that position.
DK trying to play the aggressors here, taking the fight to Team Money. You see that LMG coming out for Marcos. Damage coming through, but not finding any knocks just yet. So DK just pausing it down, gonna hold the fort and just play a little tower defense here while Team Money will just get to escape C7 for their part. I mean, they lose 1, but it could have been a lot worse.
I mean, there's still an opportunity for it to continue getting worse considering how they're wrapping here, because they're really trapping themselves on the backside here. And you can see as we take an overview look at the map that it's just going to be getting more and more congested down to the south. We still have a few teams that haven't quite worked their way into the zone. So knowing now that it is going to end on this island, looking at teams like IT and JP to start crowding this area as well.
Dio gets knocked, but immediately gets res back up. So Team Money still taking that fight with Dual Kings. Dual Kings showing fantastic aggression here, and they're moving really, really well as a team, trying to wrap on Team Money, see if they can take the fight here. They get another knock as well. Dio going down again. Is Wasito going to find the knock here? They'll get Viola as well. And Team Money just getting picked apart. Oh, but C7.
Ooh. a very bold play from Ricky, but it's just not going to be enough. He got Rubio down really low, but you can see nobody really close in the area just right now to help because Jordy's got to put pressure on other members of DK. And you can see, unfortunately, Jordy going to fall here as well.
Oh, C7 maybe. Oh, C7 maybe biting off a little bit more than they could chew there, and that might actually be the salvation of C7's game here. The fact that Navy couldn't get up there, he's going to be able to remain alive. The flush hasn't come through. He may be able to go for a res here onto Ricky. I think DK just might. Yep, no, there we go. He's going to be able to get it. Stick that. And Team Money is down. Dual Kings, meanwhile, just waiting to see whatever else pops up in their line of sight here as really like the play coming out from Dual Kings here in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It took a lot of kind of confidence in this play to pull off, but they were rewarded with the high ground. C17 Money no longer really a factor here, and depending on how the circle goes, you can even see the axis, the zip lines, and really rotating this area is a pretty dominant priority position here for Mount Villa. But one more time, I mean, another overview, we can still see Wasaka, High Religion, not in the zone yet, but taking a look at the edge, they've got kind of a lot of free space to work with, but it is going to mean that they're going to have to sit on the edge just a little bit longer until they can find that easy access into the next zone.
And Osaka High Religion taking their sweet time, getting all the loot that they could possibly get before getting involved in this one. You see Red Falcons has made their way across the river, getting a little bit close to Skullbreakers. Haven't seen any shots come out just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that one. C7 continuing to wrap north along the coastline, but ZRJ starting to make their way down from the south side, and it looks like, yep, they spotted him out. He's going to move and avoid that fight for right now.
I mean, there's time, right? They don't really need to get engaged if they don't really have to, right? And I kind of also really just feel so bad for C9 or C7 because there's not really anywhere safe for them to go until some of these other teams start getting distracted, start engaging. But it looks like Zeus did spot them, and a chase is actually going to come out as ZRJ sends 2.
C7 try to live that beach life right now as they just avoid everything. But as you said, yeah, ZRJ making that push. I think they like their chances here, and they're going to spot him here. Zeus sees him from range, still making the run. Not taking the shots just yet, but they 100% know that this is just a duo. You can see them playing this carefully. They're keeping an eye on that high ground, make sure that they don't take risk of being third-partied here.
Yeah, I mean, the worry I have right now here with ZRJ is we saw how hard the side of this hill can be to play. I mean, it takes a little bit of patience and a lot of hopping to get to the top, and Zeus right now doing just that. And so ZRJ might have either lost C7, assumed that this is the way they rotated it. It's going to take them right into DK, and the engagement is absolutely here.
And you can see Jeffrey actually taking some damage there, and Monkey now taking damage as well as ZRJ find themselves a little bit out in no man's land as DK have nothing but time on their hands. They can just sit here and send shots over the top towards ZRJ all day long and not have to worry about anything. C7, you can see, is just kind of hiding right now. They hear the shots. They're not getting involved, though. They tried that once. Didn't work out too well for them.
No, and it just goes to show how much of a high priority compound this area is. Now, you can see on the mini map there on the left that the circle has shifted a bit farther north, and so it is going to take DK off the high ground, and might be another reason why we're seeing ZRJ pull back towards Corey. That's going to give them a better wrap to play the west side, which we've really seen them stick to thus far today. But across the water, a little bit of bullying going on as well. Red Falcons keeping their eyes on TBT.
TBT just doing a little bit of literal tower defense here as they hide out in that sniper tower. Aguirre is going to be keeping an eye just to make sure that they don't go anywhere here. Navy still low as C7 trying to do a little bit of, well, Skyrim jumping around here. And Camus, oh no, that's not where you want to be. That's unfortunate for Camus as he goes down and gets immediately taken down and most likely will be flushed here. The rest of DK, though, coming to see if they can provide some support. Going to be too late, though.
Oh, Ricky is just completely mountain goating right now. I'm just amazed at how well C7 has continued to play this ridgeline. I mean, you can see the pressure now. DK isn't going to waste any time on this. They're focused, getting in the zone and playing gatekeep, keeping that pressure on them down to the south. They got to be careful because IT has been kind of quiet right. Oh, Marcus doesn't know.
Ooh, that's a quick glue wall. It's not going to be enough, though. Yeah, goes down. Wasito and Oscuro taking damage as well. They're going to have to pull back as the grenades are coming out from IT. That's the snaky, ratty tower defense working out pretty well for them. They collect that first kill, as it looks like Wasito's still trying to run. I think Dual Kings should be able to escape this for now, but remember, they have C7 still pushing in from behind, and C7's keeping an eye on that kill feed. They should know.
I mean, if C7 is trying to keep, their head down, there's still a little bit of island that they can play over by Central, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them cross the water just to avoid some of this engagement, especially after seeing what's been going on in the kill feed. But that said, I mean, remember, we saw ZRJ pull away from a fight as well and try to wrap around, but they found themselves really close to Skull Breakers, and instead of engaging and pushing in for this position, they're going to keep wrapping. The problem is that's going to take them right into the hands of Wasaka as well, so the North getting really busy between some of these teams.
Yeah, ZRJ, instead of just, like you said, instead of just entering the circle in from that western side, decided to try to go for that long wrap to the north, and it is very occupied here on that northern side. Wasaka and Skull Breakers are two top teams in the lobby right now, setting up shop on that northern edge, as we see C7 and Dual Kings sharing a little tenuous relationship on the southern edge of the circle.
I mean, just even looking at the damage that ZRJ is taking, the position that Wasaka has, my eyes are keeping to Wasaka to see if they can come out of this one on top. But you've got to give credit to the tenacity here of ZRJ. And
shots.
It actually looks like Skullbreakers is going to just dip completely to the south. So that's going to give them a little bit more time to finish this engagement up. But Jonah with
Jonah. What a flank position from Jonah there. And he gets a nice knock there. Should be able to get easily rezzed, and he does. Yai going to try to push out and see if he can get another flank on the Monkey. Does some damage, but has to immediately drop that glue wall, get back, and push forward a little bit. Going to use the glue walls to try to get within grenade range here. He's not even grenading. He's just going to take the fight straight to him, and ZRJ is just getting ripped to shreds here. Zeus the last one, and Wasaka continuing their run from yesterday.
I mean, you got to give credit there, right? They really tried their best, but talking about continuing the run, or rather not as well. DK down to just one player, Discord out by himself, and you can see not in the zone as well. Doesn't have too far to go, unlike Wasaka, who have to traverse all the way across the mountain and look for that safe spot. But you can see now this overhead view how close everybody is. And Poro, there's so much water in this next circle.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Skullbreakers were on that northern side. As soon as the fight between Wasaka and ZRJ broke out, Skullbreakers just kind of dipped and went a little bit farther to the west, avoiding the fights for the early game here, not wanting to third party onto that, as we see now TBT Strong getting caught out in no man's land by those Skullbreakers. See Cuba put that wall down, but the wall gone away. He's going to have to replace it real quick. Nathan has a beautiful angle onto this, though.
Ooh, and TBT also did manage to get kind of wrapped around actually from the island. Oh, the camouflage out. Maxima, whatever works here. You can see the really punishing TBT, focusing on getting the zone, just an absolute wall of blue walls to get in safely. But my big concern is once he's in, I mean, where do you go to from here? There's nothing to do across the street, but TBT using this time as a resource to try and heal back up. And Maxima, oh, he's going for it.
I mean, they have no choice. Skullbreaker's getting pushed from behind. They're getting shot in the back by Ozark as well, so they've got to do something here. Polanki's still out in the blue while Maxima trying to make the push, trying to open up a something here for Polanki. Polanki goes down, so Maxima now the last player up for Skullbreakers. They've got 4 kills, but he's got his back up against the wall, and you can be a boosh all you want, my man. It's not going to save you as the push coming through from TBT.
I like that Strong running behind the glue wall to see if he was there, but he'd already moved back on. I love the camouflage play here, but HR has not gotten across the island. Neither has Freestyle, who's still been alive this whole time. But you can just see as that circle moves, the river runs through it here.
Oh, look at the shots from HR. They're just trying to open up some kind of pathway for themselves to get across the island. But as you mentioned, Freestyle in a perfect position to do a little bit of snakery here and he lands some shots, but doesn't get any knocks. And now they are fully aware of where he's at. Wasaka trying to make their way across the bridge, but Red Falcons, we said we were expecting them to show up here today, but oh, what a knock from Grisero. That's going to open up a door for Wasaka to try to make this push.
Oh, I love the aggression here. They're really trying to take care of the
grenade.
Red Falcons, but Falcons were absolutely waiting for it. The domination here onto Wasaka as player after player falls, and that is going to be it. Wasaka eliminated. Red Falcons now sitting on 4 kills, but the circle moving yet again. And now all the coverage that teams worked so hard to get behind is completely obliterated. There is nothing but water and beach ahead.
Oh, this is a brutal first circle here. Red Falcons managing to keep 4 up. They've been relatively quiet most of the game, and for good reason. I mean, they've just had a great position. They held it for the early game and waited for the game to come to them. They've got 4 kills now. Let's see if they can take care of Ozark, who's pushing on them from the south. But look at this IT wrapping around behind Ozark. They're going to find themselves flanked very shortly.
I mean, the 500 play for HR, who hasn't crossed the water. Mutually assured destruction between these two teams as they are right on top of each other. You can see Ozark completely pinched between Falcons and IT lighting it up. That nade right there takes care of Ozark, and now the teams can really turn their attention to each other. And that means that HR might actually be able to just kind of hide in the water for a little bit longer.
Yeah, HR making their way to the beach while all of this is going on. Griffo, though, he's going to find some damage. Trimble going to trade back, though, so this is going pretty evenly here between IT and Red Falcons. Justin gets knocked down to a 2v2 between Sanji. Trimble going down. Sanji gets spotted out, and that's going to be it for him. But it's down to just 2 for Red Falcons, and oh, they die as they try to make the swim across the river. The blue zone does it, and Red Falcons gets the first win of the day.
You know, we said that they were a team to watch and a favorite going into this end of this weekend, and that is exactly why. Really making smart plays, not overextending themselves, getting into positions they couldn't defend as well, given the craziness of the circle, and came out with the first booyah of the day.
Love to see it from Red Falcons. That's going to jump them up the leaderboard. We'll see how far whenever we come back. We're going to get to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get ready for game number 2. Or not. We're not going to take a break because we don't have time for breaks around here, chat. We go from game to game. We bang this sucker out. We'll take a break after game 3, maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah,
we might not. We might not.
No.
You know what? We're just going to keep you going. But the first game is done on Purgatory. Yeah, no. I mean, look, Red Falcons. It's worth noting that there's a little bit of a change in meta, it seems now, and that time turner change seems like it's been having a big impact.
You know, you really kind of can look back and watch through the VODs throughout this entire series and see the teams that keep kind of a big dominance, right, with the time turners. I mean, the ones that really have relied on it are the ones that are starting to struggle and fall behind a bit for this. And as we take a quick look at the overview results, I do want to point out, as amazing as C7 was, it's staying alive. They still only manage to get 4 points, but three of them were from kills. So Red Falcons, 21 points, 9 kills. Great start to today, as well as IT Official with their 17 points, and Wasaka. You know, all of that craziness that had happened up to the north are going to get them those 5 kill points for a total of 11 points. So it's staying competitive at the top of the leaderboard, Poro. I mean, you asked me right now if I think who the top 4 are, and I can't quite tell you yet.
It's gonna shift a lot, I feel, back and forth. You got to give credit to Dual Kings. They pick up 11 kills in that one, or 11 points rather, in that first game. They needed some help as well. Yapros for Life, they got hot drop, lost 2 guys early, but still managed to collect 5. So even in games that are going bad, still getting some points is absolutely huge for all these guys, because you just never know when you're going to find that one game, that good circle, that good run that nets you a whole bunch of points and gets you jumping up there in the leaderboard rankings.
Absolutely. And, you know, we could see right now 3-way tie here on kills for Oscuro, Sanji, and Griffo. No surprise for me to see Sanji up on this list.
Not at all.
Probably one of the best, I'd say, fraggers right now in the region, which to me has kind of been surprising to see IT Official having to play in the last chance qualifiers at all. They started out really strong in the series, but they faltered a little bit, and that's where they paid the price. So if they can finish well today, I think that they will take that domination to the grand final. But again, I mean, it's so close between some of these teams. Every single match is going to matter. You can see Wasaka actually taking a bit of a big lead, even though they only picked up 4 kills for that game. But everything from High Religion down is super, super close.
It sure is. That second win will move Red Falcons from 8th place all the way up to 5th, and they are just within striking distance, 6 points out of that 4th place spot. High Religion going to have to be on their toes for these remaining 5 games. They have to collect things that you can't afford to have that really bad game where you just don't get anything, or you get hot dropped, you lose, you go out early. You just can't afford that. So I think you're seeing all of these teams, especially the ones up at the top that are in super contention, playing things really, really slowly and carefully in the early game. Now, on the other side, you have teams like Dual Kings and C7 who are trying to get involved in fights early.
Yeah, and even, I'd add Team Money to that list. Remember, we saw them rotate towards all
Mhm.
the fighting that was happening early on. I think they counted correctly in the kill feed and saw there was just too many teams to get engaged, instead focused on the high ground. But that's where we saw Team Money, Dual Kings, C7 all battle for that position. Even ZRJ getting involved a bit. But when you look at this, you can see there's a bit of punishment for that early fighting for those teams that didn't quite pull out of that fight successfully, because that's what in a way really affected their late game. We didn't quite see them have a strong enough force to survive on that. But at the same time, it's only the first game, so we've got more to go. And two, that circle was absolutely wild. It was just such a hard shift out of the south.
It's a little brutal there. A little brutal. A lot of water there at the end. Unfortunately, you got to make that cross at some point, and I guess just playing the odds, hoping that it was going to creep back towards them, but it didn't. Unfortunate for High Religion, but they still get second place. They still get a lot of placement points for their trouble. I got to tell you, man, I'm keeping my eyes on Red Falcons. That's 2 booyahs now, but they are kind of sitting low as far as the kill points total goes. Only 20 kills for that squad so far, and I'm waiting to see if they pop it. What is this plane?
You know what? Maybe the plane thought, hey, you guys were pretty far south. We had a lot of Corey Villa action. What if we went Moat House?
Yeah, what if that's the only place you can go? I'm
Oh,
actually interested to
what
see
a
if
circle
Osaka gets
that would
dropped.
be. I can't think of the last time I've had a Moat House finish. I've had it south of Moat House, but never like actually on Moat House. That would be amazing. Please, Free Fire
We take
gods.
this. We take this. We love island circles around here. It's, I was kind of curious to see if Osaka was going to get a hot dropped. It looks like IT official going to get a little bit close, but I think everybody knows that Moat House is Osaka territory, and IT they're going to drop nearby, and that could be them just trying to do a little gatekeeping or see if they can maybe pick off somebody when they're not looking. Osaka going to have to be careful here as we check in with Japros once again.
Oof.
Getting real close here, and this time it's going to be ZRJ.
I mean, I can't tell if it's on purpose or not. Actually, it looks like Ja Pros is going to completely bail out of Crossroads, and that's the smart player. Now, they really need to give themselves some opportunity to get some points on the board, to get some kills, establish a good presence on the circle, and it looks like TBT doing a bit of the same. They're actually going to leave DK behind, and oh, but look at Skullbreakers. I think Skullbreakers might actually be challenging them for blue.
Yeah, this is a far drop here from that plane path. Everybody already on foot, just running, and it looks like they're running for that high loot area. Skullbreakers already in, and it looks like, oh man, I'm having a hard time seeing the logo here, but I think that's Dual King's chasing. Um, oh, who is that playing? Who's playing play for? I know this.
I think it might be
I'm looking-
TBT.
Is it TBT? Okay. All right. It's TBT. But yeah, just everybody trying to make that run. It looks like they'll avoid each other. It looks for the most part. But yeah, Dual Kings were kind of bringing up the rear, but it looks like they spot out Skullbreakers, they spot out TBT, and they're just going to go ahead and dip on out. Wasaka, meanwhile, still on that northern side. IT official has crept out. You can see they're pushing over onto the island. Tremble and MVP is already over there. Yai might be in trouble if they spot him. No shots coming out just yet, though. There it is.
We spoke too soon. I really commend Yai. Instead of taking the zip line, try to take a chance at the bridge. Already seen IT come in, and IT kind of just waited a little bit too long for this push onto Osaka. So For the most part, they should be able to get free from this now as Yai's got the help from a teammate, but you can see Trimble not letting this loose just yet, but those blue walls gonna be enough now. So IT Official have Moat House, but I mean, they don't really have any kills to show for it. So just waiting a little bit too long. But you know who could potentially have some kills to show soon are all the teams that have dropped on top of each other here in Corey.
That's a little nutty. Yeah, it's classic IT Official too, isn't it? Just pushing out, getting involved in early fights here against Wasaka. Not going to find any joy for it, but if nothing else, they're keeping Wasaka on their toes as we see TBT getting a little bit close to C7 here. Who will spot out who first? C7 running around very cavalierly as Daryl getting spotted out. Will have to drop the glue wall just to make sure he stays alive here.
Oh, good pressure actually from C7. I was a little concerned at first because they seemed so casual as the TBT was taking this aggressive push up into Corey, but as the glue walls drop, actually looks like they've done a good job of herding them all into one building. So C7 can get a little bit closer. It's going to put them in nade range. The problem is you can see in the distance, Skull Breakers wrapping behind this. So they do need to be a little bit cautious of how much time they're spending into this fight.
The one good thing that these guys have going for them is that they have this hard cover to work around all these buildings within Quarry. So it's not like Skullbreakers is just going to be able to third party this from range for free. You know, they'll be able to keep an eye on it, but as long as C7 and TBT just play within those buildings, within that hard cover, they should be okay. And a three-way circle. Where do you go? Where is it? Where do you pick?
I mean, Red Falcons, I actually think, I mean, when we see circles like this, just the southern areas of Brasilia are great because you've got a lot of ways to get across the water. You could really push up onto the beach and you can kind of keep your head down through the mid game. So it worked really well for Red Falcons last match. This might work well for them again. But it's the teams that keep wrapping and playing the edge. We saw this last game. We're seeing it a bit again. They're starting to run out of opportunities for where to go. DK once again had taken the high ground, but you're seeing C7 and the rest of, I think that is actually Skullbreakers trying to play the edge. And so that's kind of where my concern lies, is depending on how this circle plays, if we're going to sit on all three islands or pick one, it's those edge teams, right? Because they're not going to get any downtime. They're just going to keep chasing the zone while also having to chase and deal with each other.
Slowing down just a little bit here. As Team Money has made just the longest wrap on Earth. They were hugging that far eastern coast here. Now, HR High Religion right behind them, but Team Money, I mean, they've just been gunning it all the way down here, avoiding everything. C7, meanwhile, well, wouldn't you know it, back on the backside of Mount Villa. This time they at least got 4 up.
Their logo just needs to be a mountain goat at this point. I mean,
sure.
I would have already fallen off the mountain and died at this point. So good for C7. But, you know, last time we saw this play, they went down to 2. And then they just kind of didn't really get many scoring chances after that. So looking ahead, I'm kind of keeping an eye on how they play this versus DK. Since, again, these are the two teams that found each other last match. But there's plenty of time. They're in the zone. The way that they play this next fight could really dictate things. I think if C7 can keep 4 up, we might see little bit of reward here, but they do have a long way to go on the leaderboard. So if you're C7, you can't waste too much time. You got to start thinking about how to stack up those points.
The official, meanwhile, on the move still. Japros, keeping eyes on them, but IT going to be able to avoid that line of sight for the time being, be able to get on that the beach, or the riverside at least. Red Falcons also just doing a little tower defense, just posted up. They've got a good spot. Just making sure that Japros doesn't get any closer. They might be able to spot out, get a nice kill here. Griffo landing the shots. He's going to find Prince. That's him going down. The res will come through, though. The glue walls are out. Griffo doing big damage as he is just causing all types of problems for Japros.
He hasn't been punished at all for that presence right up there on the roof. And part of that is actually coming from the fact that IT Official, who were in the train station, had to bail with the danger zone being in the area. They needed to find a little bit of a safer place to put down. And as you see, everybody will survive that for right now. But Falcons have kind of kept the pressure on Japros. In fact, look, IT Official wrapping right back. They want that train station spot. Meanwhile, Team Money, also Mountain Goating, wrapping right outside of Ozark's building. I don't know if he saw him. All right, if Viola actually There we go. Pans are out, so it's a bit of a scouting right now, and I'm worried. I'm worried because the last time we saw Team Money playing in a similar style, they kind of got punished for it. Again, keeping those heads down for those teams that are chasing for points. Meanwhile, DK look like they might finally be going for the zip line, leaving the high ground for Mount Villa. They may have spotted Skullbreakers who had wrapped around them not too long ago, but down to the south, Skullbreakers C7 right on top of each other, Jordy and Dariel. I mean, this position here on Takuba and Polanki, absolutely wild, but they've got to be a bit careful for how they take these shots. They don't want to lose their grounding and footing here. Ricky actually going to take a quick moment to heal. Try and jump back out to a better position to an angle that they can really shoot at. Might have spotted Kuba, but just can't quite get the angle to shoot. Actually, it's going to be the ridge line here that saves Kuba just a little bit, but Ricky closing that gap. Gun out in 16. Glue wall, but is it going to be enough? We saw that time turner get popped. Just give Ricky a brief second of shielding. He's managed to break Kuba away from the Skull Breakers, but D7 also broken away as well. So it's a bit of a split here. Kuba is going to go down. Maxima, meanwhile, just coming out of the water with Polanki. You can see Dariel and Ricky have the high ground in this fight still. And C7 with 1 kill on the board. Have Skullbreakers kind of trapped in this area. The decision really needs to be made about if they want to keep focusing on seeing if they can farm these kills, keep that edge, and give them the side that they really like to play on right now, which is the south. Circle is going to pop, and he's going to pull away from this area. So C7, Skullbreakers need to focus now on getting into the zone. And speaking of getting into the zone, ZRJ actually did manage to cross, and that's taken them right on top of Team Money. And let's see, Team Money. God, look how it is just so crazy right now, guys. I do apologize. We lost Poro for a second, but he will be back. Meanwhile, it actually looks like, oh, ZRJ taking the high ground right now on top of the tower. It is going to be a big punishment here. ZRJ, new kill leaders. Oof. Meanwhile, Ozark as well as HR are going to fall back apart here. So ZRJ going to be able to spend time now to recover. They did lose Zeus, though.
Goodness. Once again, the circle winding up in the same spot. Now Ozark again with the fight against High Religion. Going to be down to Achilles and Axel. They work around the hard cover of the buildings. The glue walls are down. Again, you got to figure the time turner change is having a big impact on this fight. As Achilles trying to just dip around, work around. They're going to find him. They're going to get the re-knock. High Religion. Okay, they're down. Done and dusted. Ozark keep 3 up. They do lose Flacco, but that's 4 kills in the bag.
It's crazy to me that Ozark has managed to survive so well. There's so many teams that had wrapped that area that actually did push more central to the position that they had, no pun intended, around the central area. But Skullbreakers as well, they'd broken away from that C7 and managed to keep 3 alive. The problem now is they've run into Team Money. Remember, didn't play so well last match, need those kills, and they're going to find one. Polanki goes down.
This is crazy. I mean, Skullbreakers, I think, realized that they were in a really bad position, but look at Maxima, way out down in the south, in the water, swimming around, just trying to survive and keep Skullbreakers in this, and it doesn't look like Team Money is even looking out there.
Oh my god. If he can pull this off, I mean, the ultimate water snake, I guess a water moccasin?
Water moccasin,
is
sure.
that a water snake?
That sounds good. Yeah, it's like it.
Oh. But yeah, Red Falcons as well. You know, we talked about that position they had. They don't need to cross around just yet, but they still have Wasaka, Ya Pros, and even what's left of IT in this area. And so if you're Red Falcons, I mean, there's no need to move just yet, depending on how that circle could go. Ooh. I'm amazed IT's been actually able to stay as healthy as they have been as well through this.
I mean, I think they've been assisted by the fact that Ozark had to deal with a fight with was it High Religion or was it TBT? I can't remember. So basically, Ozark has the spot on the river, but they haven't been able to just take free shots down there because they had to deal with another team, or Red Griffin, or Red Falcons rather. Looking down, they've got a little bit of an angle, but they'll not find the knocks here. Is Monkey's gonna get spotted out by the water moccasin. Maxima makes his appearance. And he goes down. Oh,
I always love to root for the underdog, but Team Money should have time to recover from this, but they need to move because the circle has shifted again. Once again, water running through the middle, but Actually looks like Red Falcons, IT in a strong position for this. Ozark as well don't need to play too aggressively. Wasaka's actually going to wrap around to the east, maybe play that side of the bridge. But if you're looking at DK, who's coming in late, Team Money, ZRJ, they're going to really run out of places that they can play. And actually looks like Team Money is going for a big wrap to try and get back to the north side of the water, potentially for free. The problem is you've got so many teams in that area.
Yeah, they're taking that long wrap around on that coast, but as you said, Dual King is on that bridge now and doesn't look like Dual Kings is looking, but Navy in the vehicle. C7 Daryl will keep sending it. Navy will hop out, however, as C7 just trying to figure out how to get inside the circle. They know DK was in front of them on the bridge. We'll wait and see if they get involved in a fight with TM here. Money just going to go under the bridge and avoid them.
I mean, you know, it really needs speed on your side. You know there's people in the area. You just got to send it through. And speaking of send it, Team Money and DK, this actually might be the distraction C7 needed to get across, but ZRJ getting involved in this fight as well. And somehow they do manage to get in for free.
They are gone, dude. C7 just guns it right through the middle of a three-way fight and get away with it. The res comes through for Team Money. They get Monkey back on his feet. DK trying to pull back into the compound, but ZRJ is just sitting there ready and waiting for him. Team Money needs to do something and try to make a push here, get himself in better position here. ZRJ will lose Zeus. King, though, going to find some big knocks there on Oscuro.
King really, I mean, just pulling out all stops there. You saw the glue walls just in every inch of the inside of that building, but the zone still closing in. Ozark, beautiful position. Water once again running through it, and these teams are going to have no reprieve until there's no one left standing. But you know who's in a good position to receive all these guys? C7, Poro.
Oh, they sure are. Look at Wasito. Wasito snaking it up for DK. He's going to see if he can maybe find a nicely placed grenade here, see if he can do something, get some more kills off of either ZRJ or Team Money as the shots still coming through. The blue is right there. Monkey going out into the blue to try to find the angle, and Team Money, they're finding some success here. They're going to find a couple of ZRJ.
Oh, look at that.
Find all
completely melting through them there. Now sitting on 4 kills. They still have to focus on getting in the zone. And Wasito in the area actually is going to get a quick second to loop. But Team Money throwing up those blue walls. Waste no time. The punishment is here.
How about that, Wasito?
Oh. Oh. He tried.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of an opportunity, a window of opportunity to try to escape there, but I think it might have been C7 taking shots at him that prevented him from going anywhere. So he just has to sit down there and wait for the inevitable as we see IT making their way down. Got Griffo right behind him, though, and they haven't spotted Petrona. Will go down. Griffo will get another point for the boys, but then he's immediately going to be taken down by Sanji, but Sanji now gets spotted out from across the river.
Well, I mean, there's the fight that we've been waiting to pop off, but with Sokka, who's kept their heads down, also putting pressure now up there to the north. Meanwhile, Ozark has been comfortably in this compound for quite a while, starting to take the pressure on from both C7 and Team Money. Are going to be able to melt down most of the resurgence here. C7 somehow still up and alive, but as circle shifts across the water, those two teams are going to have to focus on crossing as Wasaka now has that dominant position in the zone, full line of sight across the water, and essentially can shoot fish in a barrel here for anybody who tries to swim across. You got Jonah playing anchor there on the bridge to try and stop C7 from potentially driving.
Oh, they finally find Rubio. He tried to hide underneath, tried to snake his way out there. Ooh, good shots coming out from Danger. We'll get the knock and the flush as Navy now the last one up for C7 Wasaka. They're going to send Jonah to the bridge. But look at this. The circle hard shifts to Wasaka. And now Ozark is in the position that they have going to make their way across the river. But the rock, Wasaka just has to sit here and wait this out. Get the points, though, boys.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's got nades or throwables left. Actually, it looks like it is Danger. With once again using that camouflage, that nade just hitting the top of the rock isn't going to do anything to Wasaka here, and all they need to do now is farm Ozark. Achilles, last one up. He's just going to heal in the blue. There's nowhere for him to go. 8 kills on the board. This is Wasaka's to win.
Achilles just kind of delaying the inevitable here, and there it is. Wasaka gets their third booyah of these closed or last chance qualifiers, and they firmly secure their spot in first place.
Absolutely. This beautiful way to play. We saw a couple kills from them on the board, excuse me, last game, but that great play. They played it patiently, kind of kept their heads down until they really needed to take that engagement. And I mean, again, a really crazy circle here for those teams to play. Water in the center for much of it, and the decisions about which side to play coming from a lot of teams. And again, I also want to point out that play from C7 driving it through that fight to get themselves into safety. It was some much needed points that they also needed on the leaderboard as well.
I mean, it had to come down to Wasaka and IT official at the end, didn't it? I mean, they hot dropped each other. IT official to try to W key chase Wasaka over their normal loot spot, chases them off, and eventually it all comes down to that final fight there between Wasaka and IT official, and of course a very fortuitous circle hard shift going to the north side of the river. You gotta feel bad for Ozark in that situation. It looked like a just perfect victory for them, but they're going to be okay. They still got 8 kills to go along with their placement points, so 17 overall. That'll see them jumping up the leaderboard, but Wasaka just cementing their first place position here.
Yeah, and if anything, for everybody else who's fighting for the remaining spots, that it's going to make things even more difficult, even closer. I mean, you can see Team Money picking up some much needed points, C7 as well. Falcons only grabbing 7. ZRJ actually is going to get 10 points. 8 of them were from kills. We saw that engagement. And so when we take a look at the overall leaderboard here in a second, you guys are going to see just how close it is between so many teams who are fighting for the third and fourth spot coming in.
Yeah, absolutely huge there for a lot of these teams that are trying to make that run, that late day push towards fourth place. We still have 4 games remaining for them to make moves here. But for that last game, Axel, 6 kills as Ozark did everything. They defended their
Danger as
Riverside
well, right
shack.
there on the board. But IT official Patrona Sanji once again coming up where with the kills and Kamatron for Wasaka. So the engagement between so many of those teams again spread out. We're not seeing one team completely dominate the kill feed today, and that just shows how much down to the wire it's going to be for the last chance qualifier teams that want to move forward. And now, as we take a quick look at the leaderboard, Koro, you called it. Wasaka leading securely, but now from actually second all the way down, it is super close. IT official and Skullbreakers are separated by 1 point.
Yeah, IT official and Skullbreaker, they're getting the job done. They're collecting points. They're doing what they need to do to hold on to that second and third spot. But as usual, it's just not. They're not separating themselves much like Wasaka is. But they can still feel pretty comfortable. They can afford to have a bad game here or there. But Ozark, that performance from the last game puts them in fourth place. Team Money still right behind them, and you can see just how close it is, all the way down to really ZRJ, as eighth place still has a shot there. It's going to be real close, though. We still got 4 games to play, and we are about to head over to Bermuda, switch up the map, and see if anybody finds more luck there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to worry about the moat hot drop anymore, right? And we could see how well that worked for Wasaka this last game. But with Bermuda, it is going to be a bit of a shakeup for some of the other teams. Again, eyes are on teams like High Religion, Red Falcons that have been making big moves on the leaderboard, but still have a ways to go. And so if you're trying to make that clutch in, that's kind of where you've got to keep your eyes on. My big, I think, heartbreak is Dual King, C7, even Team Money, right? That just did not have a good start. They just kept finding themselves in those fights, had a handful of kills to show for it, but not the kind of points that they really needed to put themselves in for that close running. So they're going to have to play the next 4 matches really, really well and even aggressively if they even want a chance at the grand finals.
Yeah, kind of looking at the stats from the group stages here, is worth noting that Team Money and High Religion have really good high average placement here on Bermuda. So this definitely their map. So you got to think that they're feeling pretty good about things going into that, trying to collect a few more points, make their run now, set themselves up nicely for when we switch over to that final map on Kalahari, just to get themselves in a good position to just keep it in range, keep it in shooting distance, and do what you can as far as that goes. But I gotta say, I gotta give credit to our teams that were sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard. You can see that they're being active. They're going out there. They're trying to hunt down these kills. They're trying to get involved early and get those points where they can.
Yeah, and I would even argue that the circles have probably just been something that hasn't been quite in their favor because these are teams that like to play edge. And when you've got a three-way split between three islands with dominant water position, it does make things a little bit more difficult to play edge securely without battling between two or three other teams sandwiching for that position. So that's where some of the struggles come from those teams for the first two matches. But Bermuda is going to be a little more forgiving in that regard. There's not going to be as much waterway crossing for some of those teams. But that said, again, like it is going to be so close down to probably a single kill point. I might even call it now for the four teams that could move forward.
Yeah, and looking down at the bottom of the leaderboard right now, Dual Kings, C7, Jopros for Life, Team Butcher. These are all teams that kind of found themselves on the south side. Either that or Jopros for Life. I mean, just getting involved in fights early and having to run, not being able to loot early or loot confidently or safely, quietly. They've been having to play with their backs up against the wall from the drop. Essentially, all these teams. We'll see if Bermuda maybe kind of calms things down for them a little bit here as we check that leaderboard. Overall, you can see they're all sitting right around the same amount of points, and one good game is all it's going to take from any of those four teams to put them right back in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, C7, Jaw Pros, Dual Kings, ZRJ, even, right? The four teams that we just kept seeing in that engagement. If anything, almost maybe, mutually assured destruction hurt the chances for each other to even climb. So, we talked about the map switch. I'm going to bring that back again because that's going to give them opportunity to jump in different areas, wrap in different areas, play a little different style, and maybe have a better reward for it to find that climb, especially if they can punish some of the teams at the top and keep some of those points for themselves.
Kind of looking back, uh, another team like we've been talking about Red Falcons as a team that we kind of all had our eyes on, wanting to see, expecting them to do really well. The kill count has been pretty low for them, but placement's been pretty high. But Bermuda, not their best map. Honestly, Kalahari and Purgatory just better for them overall. So this is technically their worst map. They've got the fewest kills, the worst average placement on it. So Skullbreakers really need to kind of turn things up on this map, find a way to play this in this lobby to try to continue that climb up to the top four there. Because I mean they've been looking good, they've been looking great. It's just they just haven't gotten the points to go along with this high placement they've been able to get.
Yeah, and I would even argue as well that it was the play of circumstance. But with that, guys, the yellow is here, and you know what that means. We're about to get into game.
We
We
like
sit here and
bananas.
theorize how it's going to
Oh,
go down, or we could just watch it, right, Poro?
yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I thought the element we like bananas or taxi cabs, but apparently it means we're getting in the game. I'm good with that. I'm ready. I'm 100% ready for that because, as we said, you see that leaderboard, you see how close it is, you see how much is on the line. The top four slots, that is what everyone is fighting for here, and we are getting ready to drop down onto Bermuda. The plane is in the air, and everybody is on the move here. Red Falcons already going down to the south, avoiding everybody.
This might be the nicest plane that we've had so far today. This
Right?
just about puts everything into place. Shipyard, bullseye, a little bit of a far drop, but shouldn't be too hard for those teams to get to it. But yeah,
Uh-oh.
Red Falcon having an open spot, but oh, that hot drop. Mars Electric's about to pop off.
Yeah, it's Dual Kings and I believe IT Official. Or no, IT Official already shot. So what is that? Skullbreakers? No.
Oh, it's
High
High
Religion. There it
Religion.
is. They're going to pull off. Okay. They're going to avoid it for right now. And I think that's the play. 100%. As Team Money and again, man, Jabros,
These two teams.
they just cannot catch a break, man. They can't find 5 minutes to just loot up and get their game started. They're just not given any time to get comfortable.
No, I mean, Job Pros really likes to take those drops that give them that zip line access. The problem is they're not the only ones. As you said, 3 games so far today, 3 games that they've hot dropped. And Team Money has also kind of found themselves in those early fights. Damage onto Ya Pros, and You see Ravkush, the rest of the team just trying to get to the edge of Clock Tower, put some distance between them and Team Money, but they're in a vulnerable position, so they can't fully break away from this fight just yet either.
The good thing for JP in this situation at least is there is a lot of buildings, a lot of hard cover. They can't just get bull rushed essentially by Team Money. The Team Money's going to have to be very methodical, be very careful about that, and that's going to open up a little bit of time for JP to get on out. As we see Team Butcher, they're already going to take some damage from C7. C7, look, it hasn't been a great weekend for them in terms of points, but they have come in today with a definite idea of trying to get involved early, and Freestyle gets spotted out.
A little bit different, right? I think Freestyle was our snake there in game 1. So, but Viola right here got eye on Ravkush. Good pressure onto Diapros. They started to tear him apart. You can see Tati and Prince actually did manage to get across the water. So, if Team Money play their cards right, they could pick up another kill out of Diapros. I don't see him getting out of this one.
It's gonna be rough. Ravkush just kind of hiding behind that wall, waiting to see if anybody just YOLO pushes him. As Maxima has been spotted out by Strong. He's going to try to go push, but it's... look how close he gets.
That was so close. I love... we talked about the time turner not being the new meta. Is the new meta going to be camouflage here?
Love it. There's nothing funnier to me than just seeing a guy run around as a bush. But, okay, Team Money will collect another kill off of Japros as it's down to just Hottie and Prince. Hey, look, this is a step in the positive direction here for JP, because at least they still got 2 guys alive. Usually they get fully wiped.
For Halloween
feels
next year,
bad.
I'm gonna dress as a bush, because obviously that is the OP play here.
Sure. I mean, nobody's gonna know that you're at their party, though.
Ooh, even better.
You just gate crash everybody. Just roll up in a bush. Pop up. Take all the candy and leave.
I feel like that's the play here. But, another team that could potentially pop up, take all the candy, High Religion, really like the positioning that they have right now. And DK, my heart breaks for them, because they have not had a single game yet where they haven't been in a fight here in the first circle. It is going to pop, and it's right along the edge. So they do have the potential to gatekeep High Religion out in this position as well. But once again, the story of Wasaka and IT, their positioning in this zone is not only putting them in prime location, but a good spot to still really farm, quite a bit of kills. And that is something that you don't want if your team is chasing points on the board right now.
And with Sokka having to play this a little bit differently than maybe they were used to, or at least they were used to on Purgatory, where they do they drop out in the middle of nowhere and always are having to transition in a circle. This time they get that circle right off the bat. We'll see if they we know that this team can play really good tower defense, essentially just taking that high ground spot, finding a compound and just posting up and defending it and collecting kills along the way. We'll see how they or where they decide to play from now that they are in the center of the circle. Skullbreakers still looting up in Shipyard. They've got Team Butcher, or what's left of Team Butcher, just off to the west in the high loot zone. We'll see if Skullbreakers decides to rotate over in that direction. Ozark's over there as well. High Religion, meanwhile, hoofing it past DK.
Hoof it you can. And HR, they were really, I think, a team that we maybe didn't get to talk about as much as I would have liked to, given the way that they were playing last game. They were another ones that did put themselves not only a good priority locations, but in spots to get kills. So being stuck on the edge, good for them in the early game, but I'm kind of keeping an eye on to see how they play the mid, if they can keep their squad up and alive. Red Falcons, meanwhile, as well, trying to wrap around. Remember, they were down to the south, out there on Sentosa, all by themselves. So wrapping in behind IT, put them in a position to fight for that center dominance. But Skullbreakers, TBT, I just don't see this fight not popping off between TBT and Skullbreakers at this point.
It actually worked out a little bit differently than I was expecting. It's TBT actually pushing into Skullbreakers. I was kind of expecting the other way around. But meanwhile, Red Falcons and IT, they make their way towards the center circle position. But unfortunately, they're sharing the same spot. IT has a little bit of a high ground here. You can see Tremble knowing where exactly the Skullbreaker squad is. The rest of the boys from IT pushing up, and you know that IT is going to push this fight. Aguirre's going to take some damage from that initial grenade, but the glue walls are down. The rest of Red Falcon's on the move. Aguirre's, though, on an island here.
Garrus doesn't really have anywhere to go, and you can see he still has a handful of glue walls left, but gonna have to use, that's Petrona with all the glue walls left. And Petrona trying to help out Griffo, closing the gap in here, but Sanji, Tremble, really keeping that pressure. Red Falcon's not going to be able to push the engagement. They're just going to have to break off, but they need to be a little bit careful. They're opening up their backsides, not only to what's happening here with IT with good shots, but actually DK is coming in the backside of this.
IT, you know that they're going to push into this fight. Meanwhile, High Religion find a kill off or find a knock on a Team Money. Looks like Team Money will get the res. Going on the very south side of this circle. You can see in the kill feed, Red Falcon's taking a loss there as Griffo goes down. Meanwhile, Supporte keeping an eye. Oh, he's actually pushing up close here. The anchor for High Religion.
Ooh, I'm really nervous here. I mean, I love the place here. There we go. Italio Eric actually did finally manage to catch back up. The problem is they allowed a member of Team Money to wrap as well, and so the trade's coming out. Viola actually is going to take down 2 here. Oh, and Yard's got such a great angle on this, but is it going to be enough? He's the only one still standing for HR.
Oh, Yard trying to hold off the rest of Team Money from pushing the squad, but they just get ripped apart. Now Yard's just going to have to run and try to survive here as Red Falcons do get back up. There's too many bird names. Griffo does not need to play for Red Griffo. It's they do get the res. IT Official keeps trying to push in, but it looks like IT Official comes out the worse for the wear on that push as Red Falcons just playing this very, very nicely, just kiting IT Official.
I love it. I love the confidence and the wrap, the confidence and play there, but it's going to push 3 of our strongest teams all in the center position. We might actually see an engagement sooner than later as you can see the shots from Osaka actually out onto Red Falcons. We had a similar idea of where they wanted to play, but Red Falcons not breaking away from this just yet. And it looks like actually Grozero is going to get an opening knock onto Asia with Osaka wrapping all the way around Red Falcons.
Well, Gears still with high ground, but he's doing work from there as it looks like 2 knocks have come through on a Wasaka. Asia still down for Red Falcons. Grozero had that flank position. Aguirre's going to spot him out, take the shots, not going to do the damage. He's going to try to go for the res right now while Justin and Griffo just continue to throw the grenades into one grenade. He's going to find Yai, and now Wasaka going to have to reset here.
Oh, Grozera and Jonah, though, should get an easy res there and keep them 3 strong, but you can see neither team breaking fully away just yet. Justin trying to peek around the tent, see if he can get an angle, but being punished. So it's going to pull back out with the glue walls, and another nade out in the hands of Asia. Oh no! Waited a little bit too long.
Did they time turner his own nade?
Oh my gosh, it might have actually.
I don't know. It happened so fast, but he went down to his own nade, and there was a time turner right above him, and it popped right as soon as he went down. I don't. That might have been the play. I don't know. That could have been some 5-hit stuff there. Ozark now getting pushed here by C7. They've got ZRJ behind them as well, finding themselves pinched yet again, and the fight's still going on. Danger gets taken very low. Axel taking damage as well, but they're pushing right into ZRJ. They don't want to waste any time trying to escape this fight from C7. They'll push right into ZRJ instead.
C7 actually has been quite active. We saw a fight earlier in the kill feed between CBT, and now the pressure onto this fight, third party, and oh my god, Achilles actually managed to survive that. Oh, I suppose.
Oh, he does go down. Jeffrey does get that wrap around, and now C7, they say, okay, there's a lot of people dying over here. We should come over here and see if we can get some points off of this. ZRJ does go down in the end. Ozark keeps 3 alive, and now C7 is on the doorstep.
Nade's out trying to break down these glue walls as C7 looks to figure out where Ozark has stacked inside. Now, Ozark has only this compound, but they're in the zone, and Achilles getting knocked down by Jordy. A quick flush. And Dariel actually coming in the opposite side of the compound in hopes to try and catch them as they might vacate this facility. C7 sitting on 5 kills. This is a game that they need if they can get this fight won here against Ozark.
Keep this snowball rolling for C7 as the grenade will find some damage onto Axel and Flacco. They're going to drop the glue wall, go for the heals. try to save themselves from any more grenades coming through. But C7 want to push this. Blue Wall will put the push on hold for the time being. Ricky gonna push up though, as C7 ready and waiting. They want this fight, but the glue walls just keep coming as Ozark wants no part of it.
Oh, it finally breaks through. And look, 3 members of C7 completely down.
No!
Jordy falls, and that's it. Ozark managed to keep 2 up, sitting on 8 kills. Little victory stance there for Axel, and now he tries to heal back up. That was, I mean, my heart breaks for C7, Poro.
That is absolutely a well-earned flex there from the Ozark boys, as they held off that push for as long as they could, set up 2 different lines of fire, and just ripped C7 apart before they even were able to figure out what was going on. So well played there, and heartbreaking for C7, as it was looking like a great game setting up for them. They were going to start the snowball rolling, and Ozark just holds a flamethrower to the snowball.
You know, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And speaking of, I'm actually amazed that Wasaka has managed to get 3 alive away, and actually in another strong position again. I mean, we've talked about the teams at the top of the leaderboard, the way that they kind of were on top of each other as well. And this circle, fantastic for Wasaka. I mean, they've got to be feeling pretty smart right now.
Yeah, we take those. We take those, Wasaka. They are down to 3, but you can still get a lot of work done with 3. Red Falcons, meanwhile, the other half of that fight, down to just Justin. And he's just kind of running around, finding little compounds for himself, doing a little bit more looting. DK, meanwhile, on the southern side, they're getting a little bit close to Justin. Haven't decided to start making their way in just yet. You see IT Official just off in the distance as well. And we still got a couple of teams off to the north side here that may run into each other eventually. Team Money and our solo player from Skullbreaker is actually a little bit close, as Ozark and Jopros over on the western side.
You know, I mean, you really think about who is fully stacked right now in terms of members alive. It's teams that have been sitting quite comfortably at the top of the leaderboard, and also Team Money. And then you look at the ones who are really starting to be fractured. Job pros who haven't had many scoring opportunities. DK also down to a 2-man, and Ozark. I mean, we saw such a strong performance, but now with 2 players dead, is it going to be enough? They managed to make it to the very end of the late game there in match 2. I was thinking, even really given this position, that we could see a similar performance from them here. And so even though we have so many teams that are fractured out of 2 or 3 players, that really means that this could be anyone's to win.
Absolutely. I mean, only 1 squad here with 4 up, and that's going to be Team Money coming in from that northern side, clearing out things. They've got Viola and Monkey just kind of hanging out on the edge as the circle comes in, or as the zone comes in, just making sure that nobody backfills behind them. They're not going to spot out Skullbreakers, who are just a little bit off to the east, and now DK actually going to run into IT Official. The zone pushing in as well. Still, you can see it now just arriving. DK having to get into a better position. Looks like a Skuro going to try to go for the push. Sanji is pushing it up.
He had the angle there, but just didn't quite get Sanji right as Sanji popped out of the camouflage. You can see Marcos actually is just going to go ahead and pull back away from IQ. It did a good job gatekeeping this, so they did lose DK, did lose 1 player out of this, but now Circle hard shifted back away to the north. You can see there on the minimap, Wasaka still in that good position. And so IT can just sit there, take their time, try to make sure that they take care of that last member of DK, because they're going to have to turn the rest of the resources onto Wasaka.
This game is looking really nice for Team Money here. They're the only team left in the lobby with 4 up. They've got the circle. They are hanging out just on that cut line. 6 kills already in the bag for him, as well as Japros. They still got 2 up. Prince and Toddy got to make their way in, but I think that they have spotted out Team Money. They know that they're not alone. They're just going to hang out here for as long as possible. We see Justin the solo from Red Falcons pushing in behind Ozark, and you got Marcos from DK as well.
I don't know if Ozark realizes Justin's been there. I mean, that fight with Falcons happened so long ago. Justin's done a good job of being pretty quiet, but IT, Wasaka to fight it once again. We've been waiting to pop up in Wasaka's favor. Just Petronas still up alive behind the glue wall, nowhere to go. Oh, no.
Oh, and
They
now
should
he's
at
getting
least be able
peppered
to
in the
get triple.
back. He's getting shot in the back from range here. Going to get the res off at least, but as he says, zone has arrived. Ooh, they get lucky. Okay. But here
that
comes the
nade.
grenade launcher. No, the re-knock comes through on a tremble. But Grow Zero goes down, so Wasaka's going to have to stop down for that res as well.
And you can see the mini map. Look at that. Team Money in a good spot here. So with all the teams out of the zone and all
Marcos?
kind of stacked on the south side of the street, Team Money might be able to play this in their favor to get that win. See the quadra kill right there between Grow Zero. Where do they go from here?
I mean, Team Money, they pick off the last two from Jopros. They're just chilling. They know where everybody else is. This valley is just wide open. And oh, of course. Let's give them the circle one more time. As now it's just a question of how many kills can Team Money pick up here to pad their stats, as the victory seems almost assured.
Almost, but you got to be a big problem is so many teams are pushing in the right at the same time, so they've got to make sure that they split their attention accordingly. But the killing spree popping up there, you can see Rubio locked and loaded there into Ozark. Jonah spotted out from Wasaka, still 3 teams up. Jonah's gonna get flushed back out. Quadra kill there for Viola, and once again another camouflage coming out there from Rubio. They've pretty much just got Ozark trapped here, running into the blue to take care of him.
Just getting the weapon swap on. Viola will get the knock. Rubio going to go down, though, as Wasaka's starting to make the push. Team Money will finish off what's left of Ozark, and that should be the victory. I'm not sure how many kills they got, but they get the booyah, and that's what really counts here for Team Money, who was sitting on the edge of that cut line. This is a huge, huge win for them.
I think it was at the very least 12 kills there for Team Money. So a huge stack of points in their favor. We talked about how it's going to come down to kills. It was going to come down to the wire for so many of those teams. And as you said, really, really much needed victory there for Team Money. We'll take a look at the leaderboard here just a little bit, guys, to see how close it is, because it's going to be that way moving forward. But I mean, you got to give credit as well to Wasaka, who just keep padding that lead they've got.
I mean, they just keep finding their way to the end game, no matter what happens, no matter where the circle is, whether they're in it, whether they're outside of it. They still find a way to get to the late game with a couple of guys up at least to make some kind of impact on the end game here. Wasaka going to add to that point total as well. I'm sure they will still hold on to their first place spot, as they I think they had a 30-point lead going into this, but 24 points now for Team Money. I got to imagine that puts them in that 4th place spot.
That's got to give them a bit of a
They're
sigh
chasing
of relief,
Ozark,
right?
actually.
If you think about it, the first 2 games they had on Purgatory, they had good placement, they had that high ground, but then they just kept getting into so many early fights, scrapping, and then by the time we got to the late game, Team Money didn't have enough to quite show for it. So Ozark as well, very, very good performance. I mean, we've seen them in the late game now twice, 2nd place actually twice. So curious to see if they can get themselves a booyah, maybe even potentially for the next match. On the inside of that, a couple of other teams that really needed points, teams like C7 that we're even seeing here, didn't quite get the padding that they needed this match.
You can see the kill leads there, as Axel, Viola, Grazero all going to have 5 apiece. Jonah with 4 and Dario with 3. C7 finding a few kills in that one. As man, I cannot wait, Clover, to see how close this leaderboard is going to be at that cut line, because Team Money and Ozark were right next to each other. And there you go. Both of them are going to be in the top 4. That's going to push Skullbreaker and Red Falcons out. So we've been talking about Skullbreaker. They've been having a great performance so far. Red Falcons, great placement, really light on the kills, and that's now coming back to haunt them.
Yeah, and this is where, teams like C7, Dual Kings, even ZRJ that we've really been watching being that active in the front half of today, are going to start needing those miracles to pop off, because they're going to need not 1, but 2 fantastic, potentially 20-plus point games if they want to be in the conversation moving forward. But as you say, Skullbreakers, Red Falcons falling out of that top 4, but still within a manageable lead to play well into it and to catch back up. And that just also means if you're IT official, if you're Team Money, if you're Ozark, who are just a handful of points away from not only each other, but from getting knocked out, you need to make sure that you keep the pressure on the rest of those teams and hold that position here at the top.
60 kills for Wasaka, man. They are putting on a show here. in last chance qualifiers. They want to make sure that they secure their spot for the grand finals. Well, guys, we are halfway through the day. We've got 3 games done and dusted, 3 more left to go before we decide who the top 4 will be. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will bring you the final 3 games of the day. So don't go anywhere.
Una mattina mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor. Oh partigiano, portami via, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. E se io muoio da partigiano, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire.
Hi, survivors. Welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural sim will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
Hello, everybody. We are back once again from that short midday break. We've got 3 games remaining to determine who will be our top 4 teams from this Last Chance Qualifier to go on to the grand final. I am Poor Source. Joining me once again is Clover, and it has been the Wasaka show today, Clover.
Absolutely. And I guess on one regard, that's helping, right? For the rest of the teams that are
Sure.
chasing, Wasaka's locked in, but that means that the other 3 spots, as you can see there, between IT Official, Team Money, and Ozark Esport, I mean, it is literally down to a handful of points. Skullbreaker not far behind for that fight as well. Red Falcons have been engaging. They've been engaging every single match, but they're just not quite putting the points down that they need. So I would also even say cut all the way down to Red Falcons. This is really the potential of who we could see moving forward to the grand final.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal stuff here for Red Falcons and Skullbreaker. I mean, to get 2 booyahs apiece and still not be above that cut line right now has got to be pretty rough. But they've still got 3 games left to try to make their run. But Ozark has really been showing up today. Same with Team Money.
Yeah, Ozark having 2 top 2 finishes and showing so many kills for the efforts they've put in. If you were to ask me who's the next team that could potentially see a booyah today, Ozark number 1 on my list, just from the consistency that they've had throughout this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. The screen is yellow, and that means we're not going to let it mellow. In fact, we're going to get hype and get into game number 4. Another game on Bermuda, the last game on Bermuda before we switch over to Kalahari to finish off the rest of the day. Last game, we saw a victory from, who was it we saw team victory? It was Team Money. Team Money got the big dub last game. It was weeks ago, man. I barely remember. But we'll see if they can pull off another good performance here and secure that top 4 spot. Because as we see, you keep an eye on that leaderboard. Everything's very tenuous right now.
Oh my God, Pora, look what's happening right now into the high loot area. A whole lot of teams jumped up really close together, and no surprise to see there. Job pros for life. Actually looks like they're going to pull away to Graveyard, but I'm really interested to see these hot drops happen so soon and by so many teams that are not quite in the running.
Look at this. I think a lot of teams figuring that they need to get some points here. They need to get a good snowball start here rolling. DK, one of those. They're going to find ZRJ. The shot's going to come through. Zeus will get knocked after getting first blood. He's going to get flushed as well. Jeffrey down low, King down low, but ZRJ keeping things alive as Dual Kings is getting pulled apart.
I mean, that's kind of been the story of today, unfortunately, for Dual Kings. But ZRJ, I mean, the aggression that we've seen from them today has been high. The reward is high, and now see if they can punish the rest of TBT. But no, the punishment's actually going to go in the opposite direction. The camouflage is going to pop up. Strong is going to fall, though.
TBT coming in at the perfect time to do a little third partying, but Strong does go down. ZRJ still holding down Strong. The flank coming in from the high ground from Nathan, but he's going to get spotted out. Good shots coming out from Monkey and King, and he's going to go down anyway. Monkey was going to be the one that takes out Nathan, and now it's down to Papatico. He's got that shotty in hand. You got to push if you got that shotty. That is the up close and personal gun of choice, but that is a scary proposition trying to push into those 2 boys.
And you can see ZRJ really just keeping that high ground. Oh, King actually is going to get knocked right as that glue ball falls, and Monkey putting a couple extra just for quick measure. But look at that. Papacito actually is going to take a push here. Might be trying to flush out what's left of ZRJ. Is going to get Monkey down. King hasn't quite had an opportunity to heal. It is just going to pick up and run away with 20 HP. Looks like for now, oh, about to say survive, but no. Papatico is going to spot him out. So TBT down to 2, but look, I mean, are going to win that out here.
I love it. I love it. Japros drops onto this. They're like, you know what? No, we're done with this. We don't want to deal with these drop fights anymore. We're going to dip on out. But then they're like, we got a little loot now. We see that kill feed lighting up. Maybe we could go in there and see if we can get something off of it. And they're going to find Papatico, and he's going to go down. Toddy going to be the one to pick that one up. Is Klein now the last one up for Team Butcher? He is inside the compound, so he's going to be a little bit safe for the time being. And it looks like he's just going to run off to the south.
Yeah, things were looking so well for him. As you say, JP saying, you know what, this is the opportunity to farm points in so many teams. That's exactly the mindset they need to have going into the last 3 matches today if they want a chance at those top 4 spots on the qualifier. So Client pulling back away. 4 kills for TBT. I mean, we've seen what a single snake can do in the late game here in the Free Fire Pro Series, so don't discount anybody just yet. But Ozark wrapping into IT. This could be interesting if this fight pops off.
Yeah, interesting push from Ozark. I mean, things have been going really well for them today, and they're still holding on to a top 4 spot. But pushing into IT, that's not something you usually see. Usually it's IT pushing into them, but we'll see if IT can spot them out and see what's going on as it's happening. Ozark taking their time. pushing in, getting all the information they can before making that run. As you see, IT very, very split here. They should spot out Sanji, and I think they did, and they're going to pull back.
I mean, that's the smart play, and this is what we've seen from IT quite a bit today, right? If they're not ready to engage in a fight, or they don't think that they need to waste the time and the effort, they're going to disengage. They're going to keep their resources. I mean, keep that information they can on Ozark, but not to focus too hard on it. Now, you can see up in the minimap, this first circle has popped, and it is farther to the west than any of these teams are right now, with Osaka also pushing out into this area. This could be something that would really shake up the kill feed if all three of these teams find themselves a bit of a struggle here to play. But, you know, with that in mind, I think just kind of giving the zone, it is the teams like Skullbreakers that we're watching right now in that good position. Even teams like C7 going forward.
Yeah, C7, dead center. They've got their prio on wherever they want to play out of Katu. Osaka will have to get on the move once again. Looks like Ozark. I think Ozark knows that Osaka likes to loot right around that area just off to the east of Peak, and they are intentionally just kind of avoiding pushing right into Osaka. IT doing kind of the same thing as Osaka once again. You can see on the move. They'll backfill Ozark. It looks like they're just going to go for that long northern wrap to try to come in from the or play the circle from the north side. A few teams still off to the south. Red Falcon still off on the island of Sento. They're just gonna finally make their way over here. High Religion slow pushing as well. Team Money has made their way into Clock Tower, but for the most part, all our teams that are left really kind of separate right now.
And, you know, part of that, again, when we really look at how things have gone down today, there's not really a lot of waterways to divide everybody. So teams can kind of take a little bit extra time to loot, to play the edge. They're not worrying about having those rotations cut off so early like we saw with those first two matches. But, I mean, teams like Team Money, teams like Team Ozark really tried to get those prio positions, look for the high grounds, places that they didn't have to move from for quite a while. And so Team Money in the center, Ozark, probably a big reason why we did see them break off from that fight, because right now their focus is on getting on a position that they can play to for a while through the late game. So, you know, it's almost like a reverse of what we've seen thus far today. C7 no longer on the edge, they're in the center. And then Wasaka, IT, and Red Falcons on the edge.
A lot of space available right now is pretty much two full teams gone. It's only just Client from Team Butcher now, and he's going to avoid Team Money for the most part, as Team Money just kind of slowly pushing through the town, trying to get a little bit closer to center, but they're being really methodical about it, stopping, doing disciplined scouting, make sure that they're not going to get third-partied out in the middle of the open anywhere, and taking their time with it. So to pay off pretty good dividends for them as they find themselves nice little spot just to the south of Katu. And to the north of that, though, around Plantation, C7 getting a little bit close to Skullbreakers, and now Ozark starting to roll up as well.
Two aggressive teams, though. C7, we've seen take the fights. It actually looks like they're going to pull back to Catalista. So not really a fight that we thought maybe would engage. It's actually, my eyes, again, go to Ozark. They're not quite happy with the position they've got. It's a very vulnerable downhill position. So they're going to try and vie for that high ground, and that could take them a bit closer to Plantation, a bit closer to Skullbreakers. IT official who are also trying to wrap around for another position. Once again, I mean, I think we've either seen them with Red Falcon or seen them with Osaka match after match after match. It's because they've got a similar mindset on how they not only want to get into the zone safely, but what types of compounds they want to take once they get there.
Yeah, I like the push from IT. I think they maybe had spotted out Ozark whenever they were over on the eastern side. Also had that knowledge of Osaka being there, so they're just taking that long southerly wrap. They'll avoid Red Falcons for now. Ozark still have made it into the circle. They made it just on the outside of Katu here. As look at the firing line set up from Team Money, and they're going to find the knock and the flush on the Jordy there. And Dariel's going to go down as well. C7 just getting picked apart here by Team Money.
Ooh, yeah, Rubio getting that flush onto Dariel. So 2 kills on the board for Team Money, as you called it, a firing line of that bridge. Perfect line of sight here into C7. There's not really any way for them to get out of this compound for free. The C7's really going to have to work for it, but it looks like for right now, they're just going to try to get on the back side of that breakup. Some of that sight line here for Team Money, and you got to give a little bit of credit. Team Money not chasing. I mean, that's kind of where we've seen them falter a little bit today when they've gone on the chase. So I really commend them for holding their ground here, because this is such a good position, not only against C7, but potential teams that could wrap into this area moving forward.
A great spot for them. You got to feel a little bit bad for C7. I mean, they had the dead center circle. They did their best to scout out to the north side, and then they just lose 2 just to the firing line for Team Money. That's pretty brutal stuff. Here's JP going to run into Ozarks. They do have Skullbreakers off to the north as well. You can see how close all of these teams are, and the fight is going to break out between JP and Ozark. The push coming through from Ozark. They got the damage down. They know they want to make this run. They want to take care of this team as quickly as possible, and they're taking the fight right to their doorstep. But Achilles is going to go down to start things off. But Toddy and Ravkish already down as well. Freestyle is alive. Prince trying to do some damage here as they work around the glue walls. Axel extremely low. The time turner will come down to get the res onto Achilles. Axel does go down, but now they are back up to 3 strong, and now Skullbreakers is coming to get involved. Beautiful third party from SKB.
This is the points that SKB needed. Saw what was happening on the kill feed, wasted absolutely no time to get engaged. You can see danger has been flushed out, and Ozark with just 2 standing. Maxima actually going to pop that camouflage, try to get that aim here onto Achilles. Ozark is eliminated, and now Skullbreaker is sitting on 4 kills, king of the hills, and they've got all of this loot to celebrate, as well as a good position here onto the northern side of the circle.
Absolutely huge from Skullbreaker. Not only do they get the 4 kills, but they also take out the team that they're chasing in Team Ozark. Ozark going out in early game. I don't know if they got any of those kills off of JP or not. They may have gotten a couple of points from there, but Skullbreaker now still 4 up, 4 kills already in the bag, and they can play their way to the late game, try to continue that chase. As we check in with IT Official, getting a little close to High Religion. I'm not sure if they've spotted them out or they're just generally avoiding that line of sight.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. There's the patience that IT Official has to not get engaged. They're really, especially, you know, being along the edge, they know that they don't want to get themselves trapped. So they're putting priority on position right now before they look to get engaged, especially knowing that they've been trailing Red Falcons for much of this match. And actually, look at this. They've managed to wrap all the way around HR now. They know exactly where HR is. And then it looks like MVPs might be going for that fight to start back off as well. Wasaka repositioning now onto C7. Oh, there we go. Nades are out. Glue walls are up. This is popping off, Poro.
Oh, Wasaka using the jump pads to land right on the outside of C7 and immediately get shot at, but the walls come down. They keep alive. Yai going to go down, but they will trade it out as they will try to chase down Navy, maybe finish off what's left of C7. Where is Team Money? Remember, they had that firing line all set up, but the shot's not coming through, and High Religion and IT are going to start scrapping here. MVP's, I think, the last one up for IT Official here. Yeah, he's down to half HP. He's going to try to run it. Barely breaks the line of sight to stay alive here, but he is getting hunted.
He tried to grab some resources from that crate. Is actually going to get a knock onto Yard, but all of HR is here. The punishment's real. The shotgun is out, but is it going to be enough? MVP putting all of his hopes and dreams into here, completely encasing himself in a glue wall, but with nowhere to go. That is going to be it. IT Official eliminated. HR picks up 3.
You hate to see HR lose Yard in that push there. You never like to see your 4v1 turn get a knock and a flush there, so it's kind of unfortunate, but they do manage to pick up the win. They're 3 kills, and they will work their way into this next circle. Where even are High? Okay, they're down there in the southeast, so nobody really else down there. They've got a pretty easy path into the city. They do have Red Falcon just off to the north, and here we go. Wasaka now going to be the ones to run into the Team Money firing line. Shots coming through, damage being done, but no knocks just yet.
We teased it a little bit. We said this is a good spot for Team Money not to chase C7, and staying here has so far given him a reward. They've completely trapped Wasaka into a single building. That puts Wasaka on a vulnerable position out to the edge. In fact, Nebi still alive for C7 as well, so a lot of pressure into Wasaka. Their best hope right now is to try and get a knock here onto one or more members of Team Money as one member of Wasaka goes down. Look beyond the ridgeline, Poro. And it looks like Skull Breakers are wrapping away from this as well. So, good knock there onto Viola.
Maybe getting involved. He's going to find the knock on a Yai as well, so for that last member of C7, staying involved, trying to see if he can get some more points here. Wasaka will get the res back up, but the problem is this building that they're in is outside of zone. As soon as the wall gets there, they're going to start taking some big damage, and Team Money does not have to move. The firing line can stay and remain. As we check in with Skullbreakers, they're going to push off to the east and instead take some shots down on the Red Falcon.
Yeah, I think the big surprise for me is the way Red Falcon has played this match. They haven't really done much of anything, and I feel like I've almost been punished on the zone as they've had team after team not only wrap around them, but keep that pressure there. And you can see it's actually going to be Maxima as well as the rest of Skullbreakers try to keep that eye on the Falcon, but the circle shifts south once again. In fact, nobody in this next zone. Team Money keep that pressure onto Wasaka, gatekeep them from the circle, but at some point they too need to focus about getting into the circle before they themselves get trapped out.
Ooh, Grow Zero going to go down now as well. As you can see, Wasaka was able to at least get into the zone, but I mean, at what cost? Team Money just can stay here for free and just keep sending these shots down range towards Wasaka. The circle does pop. Nobody in it except for Client, our one solo snake from Team Butcher. So all these fights going to have to pull into something. Is Jonah going to heal up a little bit? High Religion, Red Falcon, Skullbreaker, all about to pop off here. Skullbreaker with that high ground, though.
I mean, it's just crazy. So many teams that have essentially walked in a 360 circle, wrapping all the way around. But as you say, the high ground right now going to Skullbreakers, but that knock onto Maxima is not going to be the start that they wanted onto this. The nades out for HR. They're waiting for Skullbreakers to close the gap in, but there we go, breaking up some of those glue walls.
Res comes through for Skullbreaker. They get Maxima back up. He's going to heal up as well, get the back up to 4 strong. They're going to take some big damage, though. Duro going to be the one taking the shots here from HR. Is now Red Falcon's going to use this as their opportunity to make a push. As they see the fight going on, they're going to try to third party, at least get out of that compound that they were in. Justin will take a knock, but he gets Res back up. Asia going to take some damage from the zone. As Italo on move. Maximo's stuck basically behind these glue walls. He's going to get some support from his squad with the hard cover, but can he get out of there? Can he rejoin the rest of his team? Skullbreaker still 4 strong. They're going to get involved now as well.
Oh, everybody right now. TBT still has one alive as well into this, keeping in mind, but say Team Money, they needed those kills. They needed a second good game. This is an opportunity for them to farm and third party here, but you can see Skullbreakers still the one doing the most damage right now as the kill feed lighting up and everybody finding themselves on top of each other.
Oh, everybody's still involved here. Red Falcon barely alive. It's down to just Maxima for Skullbreaker here. They do have 7 kills. He's going to get shot from the back and try to push up here a little bit while High Religion continues their push. Maxima staying alive, using those glue walls to the best of their ability. He's going to go out into the blue, take a little bit of damage, but this is absolute insanity. Meanwhile, Team Money just gets to hang out on the edge and send shots into this, collecting points. Skullbreakers will get 8 kills now, and they've managed to be the last surviving member as Red Falcon has gone down. Support A still up for High Religion, but he's going to get, Client gets spotted out. CBT now down in 4th place. It's down to our top 3 teams, and it feels like Team Money is going to get their second win of the day, back to back on Bermuda. Team Money.
Absolutely. I mean, well-deserved booyahs, and that is going to be a huge help for them on the leaderboard as they continue the chase for the last chance qualifiers. I mean, Poro, do you think there's a place where they could even take the first spot here?
No. I will say I don't think Wasaka is going to allow that to happen, but you know, they don't need to get first. First doesn't matter. Who cares if you get first? You just want to get that top 4. You want to get to the grand finals, and I think with this second booyah, back-to-back Kings of Bermuda for today, I think Team Money has managed to pull that off. What I'm interested in seeing, Clover, is Skullbreaker. How much work were they able to do? Were they able to collect enough kills and enough place points to be able to pass Ozark, who went out very, very early for that fourth place spot?
I mean, yeah, Ozark going out early is a key factor in that statement right there because of how close it was. And we had three teams that were 4 points apart from each other in the top four there behind Wasaka. And so that race has been absolutely close to hold on to those positions. But like you said, Skullbreakers really finding those engagements, getting themselves into the fights, looking for the kills. They are going to pick up 15 points.
Oof.
But as you said, is it enough? I mean, really, everybody else that they've been chasing around him didn't quite put anything down, so that could be a big help for them here.
Also worth noting, IT Official was right up in the top four as well, but only 4 points for them. They go out early, so that could be Skullbreaker catching with them as well. It's going to be really close at this cut line, Clover. I think Skullbreaker probably manages to pass, but we'll see how close fifth and sixth are as we check the kill leaderboard from that last game. Cuba and Maxima 3 kills apiece. Team Money, though, again, 3 kills apiece, and Italo finding himself in that top 5 as well.
Yeah, it just again goes to show for the teams right now that are really putting that work in, they're putting the effort there. They're not sitting down, they're not picking out a compound and turtling. They're really finding that engagement. And there's members of Team Money and Skullbreakers that probably just barely edged out of that list. And speaking of edged out, Skullbreakers 102. IT Official now at 98 points is at the fourth spot. That's crazy, Poro. It's so close still.
That is a huge, huge game for Team Money as they have secured themselves second place. 51 kills for them as well. 3 booyahs. Skullbreaker does manage to get into the top 4. IT Official and Ozark, though, at that cut line, 2 points apart. And High Religion, oh man, Red Falcons as well. Time is running out. Time is running out for Red Falcons and High Religion. They've got 2 games left to try to make a jump here, and they've got to hope that IT Official and Ozark have another bad game.
I mean, I would almost argue that Red Falcons played that last match way too safely. There was a lot of opportunities for them to engage. There was a lot of opportunities for them to maybe even potentially pick up a handful of kills. Now being 2 behind High Religion and 12, I believe, behind Ozark. I can't math. Wow.
It's cash your math. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, sure.
They're close, man.
We stressed at the top of the show today that it's going to come down to 1 kill potentially for some of these teams. And I think that this leaderboard right here is proof of that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to see Red Falcons there with those 2 booyahs sitting down in 7th place. You'd figure with 2, you'd be pretty comfortable, but it's been rough sledding, man. It's been rough sledding, but there's still 2 games to go on Kalahari. Maybe they can turn things around. Now, that is a map that Wasaka traditionally has a lot of success on. We'll see if they can, if Wasaka can do a little bit of point sponging here, it could turn things very, very close.
But point sponging, the keyword here, right? Because when you look at the way Bermuda helped Team Money sponge up points and just completely launch themselves into a fantastic position onto the leaderboard, you got to wonder what's happening now for the teams that haven't been able to perform, right? And if Wasaka can get a lot of kills, that's going to cut down on the opportunities and really put the pressure onto teams like, once again, IT Official and Red Falcons, Skullbreakers especially, that haven't quite been winning out the fights that we need to see them win. And take one more look at the leaderboard. You can see, guys, I mean, 46 kills for Skullbreakers. Team Money, 51 placement points have been a big help for both these teams. But when you kind of jump back down, Red Falcons only have 23 kills. And that just shows, that passive play that we talked about earlier. Them keeping their head down and not engaging could be the thing that costs them today.
Looking back at our group stages here, Kalahari for Red Falcons, Bermuda was kind of their worst map, right? For Red Falcons, only 8 kills on Bermuda during the group stage. But Kalahari, they managed to turn things up a little bit. Purgatory was really their bread and butter, but Kalahari was right behind there. But the placement hasn't really been there for them on Kalahari. We'll see if they can maybe figure something out in this lobby to try to make that push once again. As again, Red Falcons, a great team, a fantastic team. They know how to get to late game. They know how to fight, but the fights just haven't been going their way, or they just haven't been going out looking for those kills the way they maybe should have been with the group stages of the finals on the line, essentially.
And with everything on the line, you guys see the yellow is here, and that means that we're just about to get into game.
Mm.
Maybe a good map shakeup, excuse me, is exactly what a couple of these teams that have been chasing needed. One of the things that I love about this map is we typically see those early scraps out at command post, even potentially up in the shrine. So just off the start, it actually looks like we have a hot drop potentially up north in Old Hampton, ZRJ, and I think High Religion trying to go for a very similar loot spot as well as in the center. No surprise to see Ja Pros once again in a hot drop.
Yeah, not at all surprised here, but a lot of these teams very, very comfortable dropping here, dropping hot onto this map. Here's ZRJ. We'll find some weapons off the bat, but the Jeffrey is going to get spotted out immediately, taken down and flushed. And now Zeus will spot out Sporte from range, take the shots over there. No damage being done just yet. Gonna let at least one of those shots. Zeus trying to do something with that high ground position while Viz and King try to get their loot on. Narco and Eric gonna pull back just a little bit to join Italo and Sporte. As I think we saw another kill in the kill feed. I think JP decided to hot drop Wasaka at Refinery. So that's a gutsy play for sure. And they're actually gonna find Yai.
They've actually managed to completely melt out Wasaka. We talked about whether or not Wasaka was going to point sponge and how that was going to affect the rest of the teams. That's a fantastic start for those chasing. But HR, ZRG, they've really managed to isolate individual members of ZRJ. And right now, 2 kills to show for it. Viz, King still separated, and Viz not looking good on health.
Really good stuff from High Religion right here. They need these points. ZRJ willing to buy them for him so far. Is Eric going to get spotted out? The shot's coming through, but he doesn't get the knock. As Eric will be able to pull back here just a little bit. He's going to get some support from his teammates as have they spotted out Viz? I don't know if they know where Viz is.
Oh, they know now.
Oh, no. Viz gonna find the knock onto Italo. Not gonna be able to get the flush just yet, though. They'll go for the immediate res as ZRJ does get finished off, and that's gonna be 4 kills picked up for High Religion, and that is huge, huge news for them.
Yeah, they managed to stay 4 up and alive through that fight as well, which will be really big for them coming into the late game. Now, that said, C7, another team that we've kind of been keeping eyes on, needed to have a miracle game, playing the edge, not really in a good spot right now for engagement, but they've got Ozark and TBT in the area. So depending on where this circle could pop and how they wrap out of here, that could spell trouble if they can't handle one of the 2 teams that's about to sandwich them.
Yeah, C7 did manage to pick up a kill onto Axel. So one down for Ozark, as the rest of the 3 will continue to wrap around on that high cliff side. But as you said, TBT starting to push in. You can see the rest of the Ozark just kind of wrapping around. Achilles is right behind them. There he is. A little bit low. Taking some damage here is Ozark right in that 5th place spot. Only 2 points out of 4th place. They needed to have a great game here, and having to losing one guy early off of the push from C7 has to hurt. Maybe they can third party this fight between C7 and TBT.
Ooh, Jordy getting that opening knock and flush onto Strong as well, and you can see Papo right there on the high ground trying to punish. He's going to get that knock on Siderio with the help of Cyan, but looking at this, Ozark actually decided not to engage. They're wrapping around looking for a different angle. They're not going to chase inside confinement compounds just yet. But it looks like Achilles actually might be going pretty wide to see if he can catch an angle onto this fight.
I mean, I feel like they have to, don't they? I mean, they need every point that they can get, and if they can third party these, get them for free, why not? Ricky will get taken down by Cyan. Gets that point in the bag for TBT. You can see Ozark Flacco working down the wall, seeing if he can find some kind of angle here. Naitha has the high ground over C7. The shots are landing. He's going to drop that time turner just to save himself. Comes out, takes a shot. It's going to find the knock on a Jordy. Follows it up with a grenade. It's going to bounce off the backboard. Do some big damage. Jordy gets rezzed, though. Navy will get out of there. Jordy will get out of there. And C7 keep 2 alive.
Naitha, actually is going to get Navy down really low. Didn't quite find the knock, but there it is. Good connection. TBT now with 3 kills to show from this fight here in confinement. Meanwhile, Ozark did completely disengage. They've actually broken out. Achilles is so far to the north, while the rest of the team went ahead and went for a placement to the center of the zone. And this is part of the reason why, because we've got so many teams fighting and stacked here in the center.
What is going on? JP, they wait until the second to last game to start showing up, and they are just destroying other teams' chances at this, as now JP will take out DK. That's 9 kills for Jopros for life. And they've managed to take 2 off of Red Falcons as well. Gares and Asia, the last 2 up for that squad, and we knew that they needed to have a big game. Jopros just destroying these teams' chances.
I mean, they've got 22 other players in this lobby they could potentially mow down. It's not very often we see a 30-plus point game, but crazier things have happened today. And as you say, Jopros really popping off, looking for those fights and engagements. Red Falcons actually just out beyond them, as well as Ozark, that have really split themselves apart. I mean, Achilles, again, all the way to the north, playing edge. Danger, sent down to the center. And that's all that's left of Ozark. They've lost the other 2 players, Axel and Flacco. So a good game that Ozark needed might not be in the cards, depending on, I guess, what their plan is here, because I'm not quite sure I know what they're doing.
I mean, if nothing else, Ozark, Skullbreaker is still 4 up. IT Official still up. At least if nothing else, High Religion had a bad game. Red Falcons in a bad spot. So all the people that they're kind of chasing with running into some troubles as well. But the problem is IT Official and Skullbreaker still up and still collecting points. So that's going to be bad news bears for Ozark, as they are still trying to chase here. But as you said, Danger and Achilles just kind of still alive and still getting involved. And we know that we can see these snakes making their way all the way to the late game and collect a decent amount of points for these squads.
I mean, Asia and Agaris, 2 close-range fighters for Red Falco. If you're in a building and Job Pro's potentially not scouting out that they might be 2 members of Red Falcons in there, they could definitely get away with some surprise knocks and kills, some points to pad here. But a team that also needs to work on padding some points, IT Official, only 1 kill so far to show, hanging out in Katarina. They've got what's left of TBT wrapping around. And that, I mean, if they're playing the edge and trying to keep things down, they've got to handle TBT before they can move forward.
Just hang out on the boat. And it looks like they've spotted them out, too. Nathan and Klein have no freaking clue, and they are just about to get lit up. MVPs will take the shots. The time turn will come down for Klein. Keep them alive for right now. Keep in mind, we are working on that new patch where you can no longer shoot out of the time turner, but at least it will keep him alive. Nathan, a little bit split here. The grenade will bounce and do a lot of damage, but Nathan's still up. IT would love to get these 2 points off of these 2 from Team Butcher. And fortunately for them, nobody really around, and now the circle is going to favor them, so they got plenty of time to figure this out.
I commend IT as well for not over-committing and pushing into Klaya, because that could really give him a vulnerability of losing a player in this. And speaking of losing a player, Red Falcons are going to lose 1. Job Pros continuing that domination, and Nathan actually managed to get out of the boat safely, or, well, as I say that, Sanji finds the knock.
Now, Sanji would find the knock. Tremble and MVP is going to heal up. Everybody taking a little bit of damage here. It looks like Klyan's still alive, still hanging around. No, they spotted him. Okay, he's done. IT going to pick up that 3rd kill, so that's 3 points for them. They get to hang out. It looks like Asia's starting to creep over in this direction as well. The last player up for Red Falcons. IT, they're starting to figure out that they don't have to W key into everything. Sometimes you can just hang out on a pirate ship and the kills come to you.
I mean, somebody who needs to W key, though, is Achilles for Ozark, who, if they're not careful, will find themselves in the midst of skull breakers as they try to re-engage back with Danger. Job Pros have been W keying today, and it's been working well for them, but Team Money just coming off 2 back-to-back booyahs could be a big threat in their way.
Absolutely. Still 4 strong as well. As Rakish and Freestyle sending shots over in that direction, seeing if they can find any luck here. Dio going to be the one in the crosshairs for Freestyle. I think Jopros maybe pulling off of this just a little bit, as they'll hide behind the hard cover for the time being.
You know, I commend Job Pros, because the ability to slow down after playing so aggressively, this is a good style for them right now to hold on. They're in a good center position, and as we've seen, 2 players up in the late game can still pull off another booyah. So Freestyle backing off a ways. He was spotted out by Team Money. The big issue right now for Job Pros is that they can't really disengage away from Team Money in that position. They're going to be potential to get caught out if they try to rotate away from this building. So they've got to make sure that they use the last of their resources accordingly. They might be waiting for that next circle to pop before they commit to it just yet.
Yeah, probably worth doing there is Jordy gets spotted out on the bridge. Try to drop the glue walls to keep himself alive for a little bit, but the shot's still coming out as IT official could stand to get another kill just delivered to them. Jordy gonna stop down, hide behind the boat for the time being, but I don't imagine IT official's gonna let this man live.
No, he's got 4 glue walls to play around with, but as you said, I mean, 4 glue walls, 4 players of IT. He's on the edge of zone. They've got all the time in the world to focus on this.
Yeah, just the only thing I would say to IT official, make sure you get this kill, but do not give up the flush here. They are going to push as 3. You see one going for the high ground. I believe that's going to be Sanji. See if he can spot out.
Oh, that
Jordy
angle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jordy's done. Goodbye.
This is what we're talking about with IT official. I mean, their macro, their meta, all of it's fantastic. The biggest issue for them is I think we're playing a little bit too cautious on some engagements where they could have had the opportunity to catch up on some of those kills. But now they've got the entire east side to play with, still 4 strong. A good position for the way that the circle has shifted away. And another team that we really have been talking about today as well has been Job Pros. And right now keeping the pressure on High Religion.
Yeah, they've been having a rough go with things, finding themselves in early scraps all day long. All of a sudden, they win one as they were the team to take out our first place team was Sokka on the drop onto Refinery, and they've just been collecting kills since then, and the damage is still going to come out as Ravkush going to send the grenade into the High Religion boys. Ravkush kind of on an island by himself here. Freestyle has been spotted out and pinned down, and he's actually going to get taken out by Team Money, so it's all down to Ravkush.
I believe Ravkush. There was a player to play this one quietly and reserved. Rav's probably the one to help out here, but you can see HR. They're not rushing in just yet. Narco trying to see if he can get an angle. Supporte also trying to spot him. Actually, looks like he's gotten Ravkush down to half HP. He's got no grenades left, so he's got to wait for Ravkush to come to him. And oh, this might be the shot. There he goes. Supporte actually falls.
Oh, good shots from Ravkush. The glue wall will come in to prevent the flush, though, so Supporte should be able to get res back up to full health. As Ravkush holding on, just being a thorn in the side, and there you go. Ozark does go down in 7th place. That is bad news for them, as IT official and Skullbreakers still alive, still involved. Ravkush eventually does get spotted out by Narco, and that is going to be 5 kills now for High Religion.
And Team Money as well, still alive, 3 strong, and you can see right now keeping that pressure on IT official, who spent so much time on that engagement that now they need to focus on getting in the zone, and there's so much open area here for they're going to potentially exhaust the remaining glue walls just to get themselves in safely, but they're going to have to do so by challenging Team Money for this position, because if they continue to try to wrap north, then that's going to take them into a vulnerable spot in line of sight there for Skullbreakers.
Yeah, IT official doing their best right now to put the pressure on the Team Money. You can see Skullbreakers and High Religion already in red. Falcon down to just Asia. Asia trying to make his run through. Monkey going to try to take the shots out, but Rubio gets knocked for Team Money. So they might have to regroup here, try to get that res, because you know that knock is going to be followed by an IT push, and there it is. Grenades coming in, going to get Viola knocked down low. As he hides behind blue wall, Tremble will be the one to spot him out. Monkey now the last one up, and Asia is getting involved. He's taking the shots at range at Monkey. Viola gets flushed out. IT still up to 4, and they continue their push in.
I mean, Asia getting knocked right now is a bit of a help for the remaining players, but ooh, that could be really good there throw by Monkey. Meanwhile, Skullbreakers also in line of sight. Plonky was getting a bit involved into this as well, throwing some damage to the teams, but the way the circle is, there's no coverage. Nobody going for it just yet. They've really got to focus on this edge fighting, and they're running out of time. 10 seconds till the zone starts to close, and they've just got to act now, as you can see the push coming to Team Money.
And they've got to make the push. They got to clear them out as quickly as possible. You can see right now, looking at MVP's inventory, IT, they've been running across. They've been making pushes for so long. They've just not a lot of utility left in the bag to use, especially in a circle that's this wide open. Meanwhile, Skullbreakers has just been hanging out. They've got all the utility in the world. High Religion will lose Supporte, and they still got plenty of glue walls left to try to make their way in. But the damage is being done here. Supporte will go down. Narco is down to half HP. He's going to hide behind the hard cover, try to get the heal off.
And a big thing here, though, is that HR still has plenty of utility. Lots of nades between the members, and you can see the utility coming out into play right now as Narco putting in some damage. It's going to get traded out. Sanji, a big name there for IT. And just 2 teams remaining. MVP's trying to get an angle here on the other side of that glue wall, but everybody taking a quick heal break. 10 kills right now for IT. And they stack that one a little bit higher. Oh, MVP!
The trade comes through. Italo has gone down. MVPs has gone down. It's down to just a 2v2. And Narco and Eric just playing around the glue walls that are present. Patrona and Trimble, shotguns are out. They're going to make the push. They're going to find one. Trade back. Patrona still alive. Eric has the SMG. It's SMG versus shotgun. Eric hides the bush, but it doesn't matter. Patrona gets the win with the shotty. And IT Official getting a huge win to secure their place, you have to imagine, in the top 4.
I mean, that was so close right there, down to a 1v1. We saw Eric pop that camouflage just for a split second, hoping to maybe catch the other member there off guard, but ultimately just wasn't enough. Fantastic and exciting in-game for the penultimate game there, Poro.
I mean, you got to give all the credit in the world to IT Official. They had a great spot early on. They just kind of hung out and waited for kills to get kind of hand delivered to them for sure. But after they had to move, after the circle broke away from them, it was just nothing but fighting all the way from that eastern side to get into the circle. And we saw they had next to no utility in a wide open circle. They had a couple of glue walls and they used them so well. They managed to take care of what was left of Skullbreakers, bring it down to a 1v1, and they clutch it out.
Yeah, again, we've talked about the closeness of the leaderboard today, the closeness of play for the top 4. Wasaka going out early meant that the teams that really needed it had the opportunity to sponge up points for themselves, 25 of which will go to IT Official. High Religion also picking up a much-needed 16, but then Job Pros for Life also 16. They had 11 kills, but they started out this last match near the bottom of the leaderboard, and I just wonder if it's going to be enough. I mean, I just don't see it.
No, yeah, Jopros was, they were just so far behind, unfortunately, but you still got to give them credit. What a fantastic game they played here, showing why they deserve to be in this lobby. I mean, they took on all comers and they took out some of the best teams in this lobby. Wasaka being the first one off the hot drop. Ravkush with 5 kills for himself, Freestyle with 4. Meanwhile, Patrona and Trimble also 4 apiece. Narco going to find himself in that top 5 as well as High Religion trying to make a push here at the end as well. I think the biggest news from that last game, though, Ozark going down super early and kind of opening the door. And there you go.
Ooh.
Skullbreaker and Team Money holding on to that top 4 spot. Ozark 11 points out.
I mean, again, we talked about the 1 kill. IT Official and Team Money 1 point apart. That was a good match for both of those teams. Team Money had 2 of those booyahs earlier today. If they can make sure they hold on going into this final match, because even if Skullbreakers maybe goes out early, you got to wonder what Ozark could pull off. We've seen them have a 20-plus point game. If IT Money, or it should be IT Official or Team Money, go out very early this last match, and either Skullbreakers or Ozark really pop off, that could spell trouble for them. So we can't say that they are safely locked into the top 4 yet either.
That's going to be a little bit sweaty, but hey, if nothing else, IT Official left it to the perfect time to get their first booyah of the weekend, as they will find themselves 123 points, 122, as you said, 1 point behind for Team Money. But I mean, Ozark, High Religion, one really good game, and it doesn't even have to be insane. I mean, Skullbreaker is well within reach. A crazy game could find Team Money or IT Official knocked out if they go out early. So IT Official, Team Money, I imagine, will be slow playing it, trying to just get to that late game. Skullbreaker, I would assume, doing the same, but Ozark and High Religion need to be on their game from the word go. They need to get as many points as they can possibly muster.
And I think for me, the big curiosity in all this factors, if we might potentially see a hot drop coming out of the lobby, even if not for Ozark or Higher Religion. But a big story of the day has actually been the hot drops that we've been seeing for Job Pros for Life, just coming off a good game. I mean, the mathematical likelihood, as we said, it's not there for them to get into the top four, but they could potentially ruin it for another team that's in the chase right now. And so it's gonna be something that I'm gonna have my eye on as well. Because as you say, I mean, Skullbreakers, if they go out early, Ozark has that opportunity. And so it's gonna be really close.
Absolutely. It's going to be very, very exciting here. We've definitely got a bunch of teams to keep our eyes on, and there's also still the possibility of one of these teams like Wasaka or hell, even Japros. I mean, they've shown what they can do now when they're feeling confident, when they get that snowball rolling. If any of these teams start collecting just a bunch of kills, a bunch of points, that's going to take points out of the pocket, or potential points out of the pocket of Ozark and High Religion. We'll have to keep close eyes on everything that's going on here. But right off the bat, I'm interested to see how Ozark and High Religion decide to take on this early game. And I'm also interested to see if any teams decide they want to ruin these guys' chances.
You know what? I mean, I know that there's a couple of rivalries in this lobby from a lot of the teams that do play with each other in guilds, even outside of the esports. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it at all. We've seen even some smack talking between some of them. So that said, I mean, going into the very final match of the game, like you say, our eyes are on so many of the teams here. Still have the opportunity to move around, but the yellow guys means that the plane is in the air. The player's just about to get out. We'll see who gets that final booyah here of the last chance qualifier, Poro.
We are ready to go. I know everybody's excited to see how this one ends up. It is the top 4 spots that matter. That is going to be your ticket to the grand final right now. Red Falcons C7, or I'm sorry, they got my thing got messed up. But right now we've got 4 spots already secured. Wasaka in first place, but there's still so much on the line here, and so many teams that have a shot at this. Keep an eye out for High Religion. Looks like they're going to be by themselves over at Old Hampton. Where is Osaka?
Skullbreakers getting hot dropped.
Skullbreakers.
Oh, this is potentially dangerous for them right now. Dual Kings, quick to get that loot right now. You can see actually have a good placement kind of around Skullbreakers. Oh, Oscuro. I mean, I'm so nervous, bro. I'm so scared.
I don't think Oscuro's been able to find a weapon yet. He just now finally finds one, and he's gonna get. Oh my God! He lands a headshot on a Kuba. He goes down immediately in return, though. But he's gonna. Can they get the res off? Skullbreakers trying to push here. They're down to 1,
Oh,
and they're done. Skullbreakers is out.
Oh, my heartbreak. I mean, it just in a flash. Dual Kings start off with a 4-point lead and crush hopes and dreams there for Skullbreakers, but Poro is not done yet. Red Falcons that have also had a bit of a struggle bus the latter half of today find themselves against none other than Job Pros for Life, who again had a fantastic match, 11 kills the previous game.
I mean, look, Red Falcons. It's not outside of the realm of possibility, but it's going to take one insane game. I mean, they are just going to have to pop off in a way that we have not seen Red Falcons pop off before. They're going to have to get more kills in this game than they've gotten the entire weekend so far, and it's not looking good to start off as Yapros going to get the opening knock on Elgares. He's going to go down, get flushed out as well, and now Justin has gone down as Japros chooses the final 2 games to become very, very influential on the overall standings.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that this is the map they feel the most confident, and you can see just completely melting, into the Red Falcons. Asia last up alive, and as I say that, gets spotted out, and teams just continuing to melt into one another, down to 10 in just the first few minutes of the final game alone. And Poro, I want to briefly remind everybody, Skullbreakers went to this match with 111 points, already being locked out. That is
here we go.
the goal there. And
Ozark.
the goal's Ozark. They need the 11 points.
Ozark is chasing. They're in 5th place. They're getting pushed by ZRJ right now. Ozark has that the hardcover positioning here. They're the ones that are already spotted out. It looks like they've seen ZRJ. They've spotted out King. King just going to hold his line for the time being. Ozark going for the reposition. Zeus will go for the high ground. He's got the SMG in hand. Is Is Navy actually? No, okay. Navy's way off in the distance. Okay, C7 not involved in this just yet. King will take some damage here, but Zeus has the high ground with that sniper. Could be dangerous, and yes, he is. He's gonna find Flacco, gets the knock, gets the flush.
Not a good start for Ozark. Zeus, you give him that high ground, you give him that rifle, and he is going to show everybody why he's the god of lightning here. But you can see danger going wide, trying to find an angle, is going to get spotted out, punished, as Zeus once again getting a knock and flush. That's 2 members down of Ozark. The thought of them getting 11 points now this game is starting to be a big question mark as ZRJ continues to bully them here.
They've got to survive. They've got to find some way to get out of this, but ZRJ not letting them as the hard push coming out from Jeffrey. He's going to see if he can find the angle. The glue wall going to go down. Axel and Achilles, they're getting pushed from behind, though. They're getting absolutely sandwiched as they are going to try to make the push, I think, into the solo player, the solo flanker, as Jeffrey going to be the one doing the damage. He's going to find Achilles. Can he find Axel as well? Yeah. Ooh, Axel is solo, and there you go. Ozark is done. They are out. Their chances for the grand final, just like that, are gone.
I mean, if you were the Skullbreakers, you've got to be having a sigh of relief right now. Teams that were in the chase and teams trying to hold on, among the first to be eliminated in this final match. Now, everything else is just kind of extra, I suppose, because at this point, Toro mathematically should have our top 4 just about locked in.
Well, High Religion still has a shot here. They've lost one. Dual Kings managed to sneak one away from High Religion. They took Laporte, but they still have 3 up. And while C7 was pushing, DK gonna come and push in right behind them, and C7 is now gone. As DK gonna collect a few kills, but that's gonna save High Religion. They're gonna stay in this game. They still have a shot to make this if they get a little bit more kills. But now Jopros and Natha, or the Team Butcher, are going to be scrapping here. Everybody's fighting everybody. JP taking a fight with Wasaka as well.
And we've got so many people just stacked up right now in Refinery. Wasaka and Jopros, 2 of the most hungry teams from today, fighting for that dominant position. Jopros is going to find themselves eliminated. Wasaka with the high ground, though, still that pressure onto Team Butcher, who haven't quite escaped just yet. I mean, looking forward, if you're HR, you talked about the kills, the points that they need to do. Sitting out on the edge of zone is not going to help them because they need to start third-partying some of these engagements in the center.
I mean, at this point, there's just not going to be the kills left. Everybody is getting involved super early here, as Japros, looks like they have gone down. So we've already lost 5 teams. 5 teams. That's already wild. Down. Absolutely nuts. DK down to 2. As you see Wasaka now, Grow Zero going to get knocked as TBT trying to make this push in up the hill into Refinery. You can see on the mini map, or well, when the map stream was up just a moment ago, Team Money still in it, IT Official still in it, ZRJ still in it, but High Religion is the one we need to keep our eyes on. They're the ones that are in the chase. They're the only one really that still have a realistic shot of trying to get steal that final spot away from Skullbreaker.
And then I guess additionally through that as well, I mean, you talked about the point sponge. Wasaka in this center position, having that prio, I mean, they just look trying to continue to farm and steal kills right now, but at least in terms of their attention completely turns on to TBT, as actually it's going to be Yai that falls. Papotico getting the flush here, and so 4 kills TBT might be able to take out Wasaka as well, and that's just going to make things even crazier for those, as you say, remaining teams that do need to chase those points. But HR still has their head down on the edge of zone, and with 23 alive, Poro, the mathematical probability of them getting the, I believe, 27 points that they need this match to get in the top 4 is just wandering away.
Do my math here. I don't think they did that many. It's a little bit less than that. I think they needed 16 to get in. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. I don't want to be the one to do caster mac while things are going on, but they've got work to do. Is the moral of the story here, and they're kind of hanging out just as a trio over on the edge of circle, not getting involved with anything. Meanwhile, everybody in this lobby is just dying. All these potential points are going away with every passing second. You can see Nathan, the last one up for TBT, just hiding, waiting to see if Wasaka is going to try to make a push here. Meanwhile, IT Official has crept in just at the foot of the Refinery. The new circle does pop, and it's going to center up on Refinery once again, as now HR are going to have to make a move here.
Speaking of making moves right now, Gomez, the last player, still up for DK, trying to stay out of the line of sight of ZRJ. You can see quick to cross the street. Zeus has been an absolute force to reckon with today. Looks like trying to see if we can spot out Gomez being joined there by Jeffrey. And I don't actually realize, maybe he doesn't know that Gomez is here. He's got his back turned to him.
Well, he sure does. He's stopping down. Gomez just playing behind that rock, being real quiet. DK down to just one player. They've got 8 kills already, and they ruin anybody else's day. I think at this point, it's for DK. It's just let's not finish in last, right? Let's try to get out of last place. As ZRJ gonna pop down the vehicles, get on the move once again. Gomez take a shot at the back of Viz just to let him know how close he came to dying, but that might be the dinner bell being rung as he is just getting pushed, and Jeffrey will find him, and that'll be it for Dual Kings. Half the lobby is down, and High Religion just running out of points to secure here.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the big help right now that they've got to run into the zone, and that is going to take them into teams like Team Money and even potentially Wasaka, depending on how they choose to reposition here. But as you say, if they're running out of opportunities, they're going to have to start melting through all the lobby. And given how we've seen them play today, they really just turn their focus onto 1 or 2 teams on the edge. And so they're going to have to take things a little bit farther than that if they want to see results into the top 4.
Placement points are still a factor, but like we said 16 points is what they need to pass Skullbreaker. And placement points are great, but gonna have to do a combination of a little bit more than that. They've got 1 kill already, and now they are pushing right into Team Money. As Jonah actually, this might be a distraction for Team Money here. Is Jonah gonna find Monkey kind of out on his own? Monkey down to half HP. He's gonna have to drop the blue walls to prevent this push from Jonah, who's pushing him hard with this shotgun, and that might actually, that's gonna give HR a little bit of a heads up as to what's going on up here. But look at this, they're also the rat from ZRJ is coming in from the north side. Now High Religion is pinned down.
Ooh, it's not looking good as Narco falls to a nade there. You can see even good pressure from Viola is making it hard for them to wrap away in any direction. Team Money is quick to capitalize onto this. As you can see, Monkey, Rubio, and the rest of the players have every gun turned right now onto High Religion, as well as ERJ, who's completely trapped behind these crates.
Oh, ZRJ just playing so aggro right now in the final game, collecting points, and they ruin High Religion's shot. I think that has now officially secured our top spot, unless, of course, can ZRJ actually do this? There's no way, right? No, there's no way.
I mean, I think if there was more players in the lobby, I would say that the potential was there because they have been winning the fights that they choose to engage. The problem is that there's not many fights left we have with only 4 teams remaining. That said, Team Money down to 1 player. Let's see if they can get any of those reses off right now as Adilo goes for Rubio, but the nades out in force right now.
ZRJ is hunting right now. Viola slowly bleeding out. Rubio and Idio very, very low as they continue to run around, just hide from ZRJ. ZRJ just pushing 9 kills already, and they want more. They want to finish off everything that's left in this lobby. Team Money is done. 12 kills for ZRJ as they are one of the final 3 teams remaining, Clover. It's circle 3.
This is wild. I mean, the aggression was there. We said we needed to see teams bring it. The problem is that teams that really needed it the most just weren't successful in the ways that they needed. But, I mean, IT Official, look at this, 0 kills. IT Official was another team that we had in the discussion of saying wasn't entirely safe for this. And oh, Nathan.
He's just vibing. He's like,
I feel that.
I mean, okay, let this serve as a notice to all competitive Free Fire players. Do not ever leave it to the final game, because the final game, the wheels just come completely off of the whole thing, and there is just no way to predict what's going to happen. We are down to essentially 2 teams and Natha here right now, and it's just now circle 4.
Well, maybe this might be the opportunity IT needed to pad a handful of kills, right? Because they've got the center, ZRJ, has the edge. This is in the zone, but ultimately are going to have to push into that position.
Oh,
IT has
Nathan.
it. Natha! Oh, Nathan's going to take all the attention away from IT official. This might actually be a big help for ZRJ.
Nathan gonna push in with that shotgun, try to see if he can get something done. MVP's running around. Nathan looks like he's managed to avoid him for the time being. He's still alive, but now ZRJ has arrived. They have brought it in. Nathan gets taken out, but ZRJ trying to see if they can finish off what's left of this lobby. Zeus goes down. Jeffrey now still up with Viz. Viz dropping the grenades, but nobody's there. Jeffrey's gonna go down, and it's down to just Viz. An IT official could get their win, their second win. I think it's the second win in Circle 4 of the final game of Last Chance Qualifiers.
5 alive, Viz with a full wall right now, completely entombing him of glue walls. IT official know they have this in the bag. Are going to spot out Viz, and there you go, the final booyah of the Last Chance Qualifiers. Poro, what a way to wrap the day.
You got to thank these teams, man. They know that you got more stuff to do on Sunday. They know you want to get back to doing your regular, you got chores to do, you got errands to run. We're going to make sure we finish this thing as fast as possible as they finish it in Circle 4. IT official gets the booyah. And man, I mean, it was so close. There were so many storylines going into that final game, and everything was settled within the first 5 minutes, it felt.
I feel like everything was settled within the first 2 minutes, 5 seconds, maybe even, right? As we had 2 of our teams that were the big story walking into this die almost immediately. And that really changed the things. Focus went then on to anybody that could maybe pop off. We didn't quite see that either. And so at the end of the day, well played. I mean, it just goes to show how good this NA lobby was, even to going into the last chance qualifier for.
Yeah, I mean, all our teams that ended up making it 100% deserved their spots there. We saw I think we had how much movement did we have in our top 4 there? I know Osaka came in first place. You had Red Falcons that were in second. You feel terrible for Red Falcons, but I mean, damn, you gotta come in with something. And they got 2 booyahs, but they just could not find any more points other than that. Skullbreaker as well. They had a great day today. They earned their spot, but not nearly as many points as they got yesterday, as they were sitting in second place overall. But IT official, team money, what a performance from those guys.
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes to show that in a series, especially like the last chance qualifier, you can't keep your head down and play the slow and patient game. You need to be proactive and look for those scoring chances. I mean, Ja Pros for Life also picked up an additional 7 points this game. I mean, they had a weak rest of the performance, but to see them really pop off in these last 2 matches was really inspiring. But ZRJ, right? I think the entirety of today, we've talked about how proactive they've been, how much they've really been moving and engaging in fights. They look for the kills. Viz with 6 to show as he leads it, not far behind by Zeus, who again has had a phenomenal day there. I want to say Zeus and Viz together probably amount for more than half the kills that CRJ has got in this weekend.
I mean, it was the performance that ZRJ pulled out in the last game, the performance of Japros for Life in the last 2 games. Man, you just get left wondering what could have been if JP was able to put together a little bit more than that. So maybe it'll, if nothing else, it'll kind of serve as a reminder that, hey, we can frag in this lobby. But let's take a look at that final leaderboard, see who our top 4 spots are going to be. And there you have it. Wasaka, IT official, Team Money, and Skullbreaker will be joining the rest of our grand finals lobby.
It's so well deserved between these teams. You can see, I mean, the kills put down alone between Wasaka and IT official really tell the story of this. Team Money and Skullbreaker continuing to hold their own. And we talked about how it's going to come down to a handful of kills. I mean, had Skullbreaker, had Ozark not gone down in the very start of that last match, it could have been much, much closer. And you see there on the 5th cutout, High Religion 102, not getting the performance they needed that final match to just edge out Skullbreakers even. I mean, it would really just came down to maybe even what, 2.5 engagements, and that could have been enough for High Religion to leap them.
Rough stuff. IT official padding the stats a little bit there in game number 6, but 84 points today A fantastic performance from them when everything was on the line. Team Money again, 76 points today. Fantastic performance from them. But Wasaka, I mean, look, overall kills. You got Grazera and Jonah up in that top 5. These guys have been popping off. Sanji, not at all surprised to see him in the top 5 as well. Trimble joining him from IT Official, and Ozark. Oh, yeah, your heart just breaks for Axel.
I really put in the work. I mean, it's been a pleasure to see. And although we will be moving forward to the grand finals, I mean, these teams have just showed how exciting the esports is for Free Fire Pro Series in North America and here in our inaugural season. But it also makes me really excited for the grand finals because we've got the best players in North America getting ready to represent and shake it out. And if you thought today was close and today was nail biting, guys, wait until you see the grand finals.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like Wasaka, IT Official, Team Money really hitting their stride at the right time as they start to look a little bit hot going into the grand finals. They might be something to contend with. Although we do have some very, very big names in that grand finals. Obviously, looking at La Bahia, Fuego, Northblood, Invalidos, Club 9D, all of these teams looking very, very strong heading in. But I think that this grand finals lobby is shaping up to be absolutely exciting stuff. Well, there you can see the schedule, as today was our last chance qualifier day 2. The grand finals will start on December 17th. So mark it down, get ready, follow this channel, be prepared because it's going to be exciting stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we've talked about what this is going to be, and it's because we've really gone through our group stage, all of our qualifiers, and at the last chance qualifier, we've seen what this region has, what the teams have to show us going forward, and that just makes it even more exciting of knowing what matches are to come. And Poro, if I'm being honest, just watching how these teams have even grown through the series has been some of the most exciting aspects of it.
Growth. We love talking about the growth. And but I think you're absolutely right. I think as these teams get more games under their belt, that they get a little bit more comfortable in the lobby, you're starting to see them kind of step up a little bit, starting to flex out a little bit more, taking fights that maybe they wouldn't have normally taken at the very beginning. They're feeling a little bit more confident in themselves, knowing that they can hang. But the finals will start on December 17th, so make sure that you are there. But I think that's about it for us, as we are going to wrap up the last chance qualifiers day 2. Get ready for the grand finals. Clover, you have any final thoughts before we take off?
It's just make sure you get those kills, rack up those booyahs, and you know what? Give it your all because as we saw again today, for those teams that played just a little bit passive, a little bit heartbreaking for them. But I'm just so excited. Poro, these matches were phenomenal today. And thank you for casting with me. I always have a pleasure working with you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure working with you as well. The only advice I have is don't wait until the last game, because the last game, the wheels will always fall off. It is going to be an absolute clown fiesta. But for me, Porosaurus, for her, Clover, and for all of our production staff here at Torchlight, we thank you for joining us once again, and we look forward to seeing you for the grand finals on December 17th. We'll see you then.